Ndewo. Hey, how are you guys doing? Ndewo. All right, let's bring the microphone up over here. How am I gonna do this? Maybe like that. There. That's a good set. All right. Ndewo, everybody. Can you guys hear me? We are live. We are live. Omalecha. Ndewo. Ndewonu. I am live. I am definitely live. Ndewo. All right, guys, we're going to go ahead and get started once we get how many people? Should we do 10 or 15 today? Should we do 10 or 15 today? I need a suggestion. Do we do 10 or 15 today? We are going to go live once we get 10 or 15 people in here, but I need a number. Somebody need to give me a number. 10 or 15. 10 or 15. Is the chat on? Is the chat broken? You know what? Just because I'm not hearing from you guys, we're going to do 15. We're going to begin when we do 15. Ndewonu to everybody that's here. My name is Derek Ofadarwa with the Medicine Shell. For those who are new, first and foremost, hit the subscribe button. Hit the like button as well. I see that there's six of you guys in here, right? There's 6 of you in here, and there's only one person that's hit that like button. If you don't hit the like button, you have hit the dislike button. If you don't hit the like button, you have hit the dislike button. So go ahead and hit that like button. For those of you who are available, Phoenix, Ndewo. Udo. Once we get 15 people, I'll go ahead and get started. Like I was saying, my name is Derek Ofadarwa with the Medicine Show. I teach Igbo spirituality, culture, and cosmology. If this is a topic you are interested in, go ahead and hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. And join the Patreon community at patreon.com. Hit the little heart button too. Hit the heart button too. Let's get it going. Hit that heart button. I like that heart button. Hit the. Oh, last time I had music playing during this little load up part. Okay, let's do this. Once we get 17 people, so I can get time to put some music on. Hold on. I don't know why I didn't think of that. Okay, Nekwe. Anyways, no music for today, but going forward, we'll make music a thing, okay? So, once we get 15 people, we'll go ahead and get started. I had a little topic I want to discuss, but this is Ask Me Anything. You guys can ask me any questions about what maybe you perceive that I know, maybe something I perceive I know. My strong topics are Igbo culture, cosmology. All smiles be Ndewo. How are you doing? But yeah, my strong, of course, Igbo culture, cosmology. We've gone into politics here, especially African politics. There's a lot going on in Africa right now with Congo, with Sudan, and so forth. My takes on African politics are not the convention. You're not going to hear them in a lot of different places. And I think it is because I spend a lot of time thinking and looking at the situation, and sometimes what the convention says is not the full story very often, right? But yeah, for those of you who are new, hit the subscribe button. Best way to support the movement is by joining the Patreon community, patreon.com/medicine shell. Patrons have full access to my research library, my which has like over 300 articles, books, anything you can think of. Some of the absolute best books ever written on Igbo spirituality, culture, and cosmology. One of the ones that I'm doing a reread on right now personally is Leopards of the Magical Dawn. By the way, if you are on Patreon, our next group study is going to be open to the whole Patreon, not just the few tiers, but the whole Patreon. And we are going to be doing I don't know what to call it, but I want, because so many of you guys have written books, so many of you guys have are artists, so many of you guys have created things, some of you guys have businesses and things that are out and available in the public. Some of you guys have so many endeavors and pursuits that you're going after. And I want that to be a day that we all get together and we support each other. So anybody that has something they want to present, you present. I'll announce it all tomorrow. Anybody has anything you want to present, you present it. You let us know how to get a hold of it. You tell us the story, your inspirations. This is gonna be your what's that show with that guy with like Dave Chappelle used to do inside the writer's studio, inside something like that. Inside, this is gonna be your little inside. Hey, we've hit 15 people. He said, I got a bell now, y'all. So this is we'll still try to figure out what to do with this, but this is gonna be a part of it. This is gonna be my Ise bell. Oh, let us go ahead and begin, okay? We have hit 15 people. Let us go. Okike kere ụwa, ala bụ ala nne mmadụ na nne mmụọ, ala na-enye ndụ na-enye nke ọma dị n'ụwa. Ụmụ gị abịala. Ọwụ obiọma ka m ji na-ekele ụmụ ndị eke, ndị orie, ndị afọ na ndị nkwọ, ndị mgbu na ndị egede, ndị mmadụ na ndị mmụọ. Ejikwere m obiọma na-ekele ndị ọkpụ anyị si abịa na ndị iche anyị na-eso. Eji m obiọma na-ekele ụmụ ajaana na ụmụ kpakpando eluigwe. Ọwụ obiọma ka m ji na-ekele ụmụ ndị eke, ndị orie, ndị afọ, ndị nkwọ. Ejikwere m obiọma na-ekelekwe unu niile, ma ndị nọ na ajaana Umokwe, ajaana Afrịka, ajaana ala ndị ojii, ajaana ala ndị bekee, ajaana ala ndị Amerịka, ajaana ala ndị Kora, ajaana ala ndị Asia. Ejikwere m obiọma na-ekelekwe unu niile. Aha m bụ Derek Ọfọdụ nwa, otu unu fụrụ m bụ otu m dị. Anyị ga-enwe udo taanị, anyị ga-enwe uche taanị, anyị ga-enwe ezinụlọ, anyị ga-agọta ezinụlọ taanị, ma nke dị na mmadụ ma nke dị na mmụọ. Otu a ka ọ ga-adị na eke, n'orie, na afọ, na nkwọ. Ise. All right, let's go ahead and begin. Let's go ahead and begin. Okay. All right, y'all. This is Ask Me Anything. Ask me any question you want to ask me. So I had a title for this one. And it was that friendship does not equal community, right? Friendship does not equal community. So we'll see if anybody has any questions pertaining to that. But, my thoughts on it are pretty simple. I think that, you hear a lot of things get called community. And and then you also see this desire to understand the science of forming community and the science of community building. And I do think that one of the things that, if you're in the pursuit of community, or in the pursuit of creating community, or the pursuit of strengthening community, the understanding that friendship is not community, right? And the reason I say that friendship is not community is because growing up, I think that one of the things the previous generation did very well is they had a very strong sense of provocative. Maybe. I don't think it is. We'll see. You guys don't have to agree with me, by the way. If I'm full of it, let me know, right? Let's do this. If you agree with me, if you think that friendship is community, type A in the chat. If you do not believe friendship equals community, type B. You do not have to. I'm not here to be agreed with. I am absolutely not here to be agreed with, right? If you believe friendship is community, type A. Friendship is not community, type B. Okay? Friendship is community, type A. Friendship. Now, here's my thing, right? Just to soften the blow, because this is the truth. Friendship can become community, but friendship is not inherently community, right? Because community requires you to be in community with people who you are not friends with. And you cannot be friends with somebody who you are not friends with. Well, some people can pull it off, right? Some people do that. You got people that are your friend that are really out here to get you, right? That kind of thing. Or that are, let me say, rooting against you. But community requires you to be able to show up for a person regardless of friendship, regardless of the feeling you have towards that person, regardless of how that person has treated you or how you have treated that person. Community, regardless of if that person is showing up for you as well, as much as people don't want to hear it, right? Community differs in that sense because the community comes with a sense of duty to the person, regardless of what's going on, right? Regardless. Friendship does not. Friendship does not. Friendship sometimes is an escape from community. Friendship is sometimes, I'm going to treat you well, you're going to treat me well, I'm going to look out for you, you're going to look out for me, but once you violate that, we're done, right? Once you step on that, and that's done. And I'm not downgrading friendship. I think friendship is a special, different thing, right? It's a different thing. It's very special, but it's different, right? But community is different, right? community is different. One of the things that the previous generation did very well when they were coming to America is that they maintained their capacity for community. And it's interesting because, we talk about work life balance, but I think like one of the things that like every, let me say, every Nigerian mom was capable of doing was raising four kids, having an active church life, having a very active work life. Like if your mom wasn't working overtime, you probably weren't. If you had a Nigerian mom that wasn't taking excessive overtime, then you're tripping, right? You're not telling the full story, right? That kind of thing. Very active work life, very often going to school at the same time, and then also visiting all of their friends or being visited by all of their friends like once a week. And sometimes I marvel, like I sit back and I'm like, how was that even happening? Right? Because I can barely like eat, work, and sleep on the same day, right? I can barely coordinate those three things, but they were doing that. And one of the things you would see very often was you'd have these like major blowouts, right? These huge fights, but they would still show up for each other, right? If somebody's kid was having a graduation, uh, my wife's not gonna like me telling this story, but it was one of their family members was like threatening to unalive, as they say on TikTok, everybody else because they were in the big. Oh, because one of them drove a car through like another one's garage, and then it became this big thing, and then like soon after they all went to each other's kids' graduation because it was graduation season and that kind of thing. And it wasn't even like let's go there and be fake, right? It wasn't even like I'm here. I'm pissed off at you. You busted a hole through my garage, and then you started threatening to off me. But it's your kid's graduation, and we got to be here. That kind of thing. So it's just what it is, and that's one of the things that was hard to with growing up. I grew up with American culture, kind of adjusting or not adjusting, but like understanding that. But as I get older, I come to realize what that is, and I come to appreciate it. And somewhere in there, it is the difference between community and friendship. I think um, friendships can become community, right? Friendships can become community, but in order for a friendship to become community, it has to deliberately take that step beyond that. I think that's what, like, for example, like the difference between dating and marriage, right? Marriage is community. You've now entered community. Dating is friendship, right? I'll do my. Okay, all right. Let's see if there's any questions. Give me if you think friendship equals community, hit A or type A. If you think it is, then hit B. All Smiles B says, "What is friendship?" I think friendship is two people that have an affinity for each other's company. And then a deeper level of friendship is two people that have an affinity for each other, right? And so that's to me, that's friendship, right? And there's a commitment in friendship to keep that affinity alive, to keep that connection you guys have alive, to keep it strong, to assure that it still feels good or that it still feels the way it was intended to feel. You understand? I think that's kind of my own way of seeing friendship. So maybe we have different ways of seeing it. What do you think friendship is? Angel the babe, one nende one na kedu ne kekide. Ahodigimma. All right. Let me hear your take first because I'm not friends with anyone in my company. Yeah, you don't have to be friends with your community. You don't have to be friends with your community. Ademba. Ademba. Okay. Somebody asks, what is your species? I'm a Homo sapien. I'm a real Homo sapien. Can you give a shout out to Billy? A shout out to Billy. Squirrels swim on their back to keep the. Hey, hey, Brad, I'll let that one slide because it was funny. I'll let it slide because it was funny. Otherwise, I was about to ring the bell on you. And there one. All right, guys, just ask me anything. If you guys have any questions to ask, any topics you want to bring up, any specific things, the minute you guys stop asking, I'm out. If we don't have any, then we're gonna have a very short one today. That kind of thing. Cool. Have you heard of the 256 Odu and Ifa? Does Odinani have the same thing? No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. So the 256 Odu, I think that's something very specific to the Yoruba tradition. In Odinani, it's not the same thing. One of the reasons it's not the same thing is because, like, I think I want to say that the Odu are red when you're doing Alpha, right? The Odu are red when you're doing Alpha. In Igbo, we just kind of read say directly what the Alpha is saying, and it is communicated back if depending on who your Dibia is. Um, will communicate it back very poetically, but it'll be their own poetry. Like I'll give it to you in my own poetry, right? I'll throw my own elus in there, that kind of thing, but I'm giving you the same general message. So you can roll Afa, and Afa will say something great will happen um, uh, on Uriye Day, right? Maybe you asked like, when do you think I should go to blah blah blah? And then Afa says something great will happen on Uriye Day, right? And then I can then start giving it to you in a poetry style known as Mbem, right? Vocal vibration, and then just kind of rapping it to you, right? And telling you what Afa is saying and so forth. Afa goes through three layers of translation. There's the direct binary, the on or the which is light, dark, light, dark, light, dark. And then the light, dark gets translated into phrases, right? Into phrases that are in the Afa language. And then the Afa language gets translated into Igbo. And then once you translate it into Igbo, you can deliver it the way you deliver it. But no, we don't have the same thing as the 256 Odu. We don't have that. Ademma. What is your vaccination status? Do you mean like you can't say that word on YouTube. So if it's the recent whatchamacallit, that's between me, myself, and I. So yeah, I don't know. What are you like a virus or something? Friendship is in the way of them. Hey, Beverly, ndewo. Why do I call you Beverly? Bevelin. I apologize. Bevelin and they will. Thanks for being here. Friendship is the way I build community for sure. What ways do you maintain community? Having healthy boundaries, keeping yourself open to friendship. Okay. Damn. How did I not anticipate this question coming? What ways do you maintain community? Right. I think one of the most important things for a person to develop is a relationship with whatever it is they consider sacred, right? If you have a sacred space, how do you treat that space? Is it clean? Is it a place that you are willing to go and do whatever? Is it a place where, you participate in activity A or activity B, right? Some type of relationship so as a foundation with whatever it is that you use to access the sacred, right? Your chi. You understand, okay? That same relation, once you are able to develop that, you can then apply that to different things. Okay, you can then apply that to different things. So the same, and in that sense, like when we talk about Odinani, we talk about, oh, this is sacred and that is sacred and this is sacred. The truth is everything is sacred, right? Every single thing is sacred, but the way it is approached is informed by how we approach the sacred. So community is sacred, right? Community is sacred. Once you are in community with person, you are a single being. You are a being with one chi, right? And that particular singular being is going to require the same things required to keep a person alive, right? The same things required to keep spirit alive. Okay. Community is kept alive by a couple of things. I don't have an exact number, but I'm going to list a few, right? One is tradition. One is tradition. We are doing something at a coordinated time that is not in any of our control. We are doing something at a coordinated time that is not in any of our control. And we are all by duty going to show up to this thing for each other and make this thing exist because it feeds the rest of us. It's important to the rest of us. Okay? It feeds the rest of us. It is important. And when I say feed, I don't mean like monetarily or gastrointestinally, right? I mean, it feeds each of us spiritually, right? So we all get together, we celebrate full moons together, we celebrate Christmas together, we celebrate this and that together, we go to the river together, right? We do this and that on every day. We memorialize XYZ, and we do a sacrifice, and we have a feast together. We have a dinner together on this day and that kind of thing. Something that's outside of every you we all submit to our relationship to that thing. Traditions keep that thing alive because one of the things about community is, like I was saying with the sacred thing, the same with things that keep community alive are the same things that keep more a spirit alive. And you will notice that when an individual or an organization is trying to keep a spirit alive, they will have cyclical behavior. Cyclical behavior. Okay. Think of it like when you're swishing, like let's say you have some water in a cup, right? Okay, this is kind of empty. Let's say you have some water in a cup and you're swishing it around, swishing it around, swishing it around, and it forms a little vortex thing, that little vortex thing, right? If I hold still, after a while, it'll fade off. This is why it was very important for the colonialists to uproot people's traditions from them, take people's traditions from them. Because if I want to reconfigure this landscape to my liking and to my image, I have to uproot these. I have to stop the swirling of the water in the cup, right? Because once that swirling stops, it becomes still water. You understand? Now maybe we can change the direction, do yada, 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 right? So that cyclical behavior is the arm that is spinning the drink and keeping that vortex alive, right? It doesn't have to be anything super dramatic, right? It doesn't have to be anything super dramatic. We all get together, we all eat on February the 13th because, and the because is also very important. The because allows us to access what we collectively consider sacred. What we collectively consider sacred. Okay? When I say sacred, I'm not just meaning religion. The because allows us to collectively access what we consider sacred, right? A lot of people will have, for example, now with my family, with my like nuclear immediate family, on Thanksgiving, we always make sure to go wherever my mother is, right? We go wherever my mother is, wherever she's at, we go. And that's where we're going to have Thanksgiving. So if she chooses to be in Barbados, we're all going to Barbados for that. If she's at home in her home state, the state that she lives, we all go there, which is usually the case. Sometimes she'll go to another state, right? Or she'll visit one of us. Sometimes she'll come visit, and then everybody. Then if she visits us, then Thanksgiving's on it because our mothers brought us into the world. We are extensions of our mother, right? We are one and the same person. I'm one and the same person as my mother. I'm a continuation. So this is a sacred bond, right? So that cyclical tradition is rooted in what we collectively think is sacred. And because this is the tradition of all of the children of my mother, then that is what we're going to do. We have this tradition back home called Aran, right? I'm the one that implemented that family tradition. I'm the first son. That's kind of one of my duties is implementing stuff like that. And we have this thing called Aranomo, which literally means breast and child. And Aranomo, a lot of my Black American audience, you guys will know what this is because you don't call it Aranomo, but you do the same thing, right? So everybody gathers at the family matriarch's home, wherever she's at. Everybody gathers at the home of the family matriarch and everybody eats, right? Food is prepared, all the women cook and that kind of thing, or maybe she just cooks, and everybody gathers at the home of the matriarch of the family, and that becomes like a family reunion for everybody. Now, Aranomo in North America, they call it going to Big Mama's house, right? That kind of thing. And I'm sure my Caribbean audience also has the same. South American, you guys also have something very similar, right? But this is a very core Igbo tradition. So that is one of the things is a cyclical behavior that is rooted in what is sacred, that is rooted in what's bringing you all together or brought you all into the world together. That is one. Okay. Another thing that that creates community is oath, the capacity to take oaths. The capacity to take oaths and the capacity to keep oaths, which again ties back to your relationship with the sacred. Can you keep a sacred space sacred? Can you keep a sacred item sacred? Right? One of the reasons, so I always get into this thing, maybe just to be contrary, but I always get into this thing where I talk about like oral traditions. I talk about oral traditions. I think oral traditions are more credible than written. And I think that at best maybe they're equal, but I think the oral tradition is more credible for a bunch of different reasons that I can if you guys are curious I can explain, right? And where was I going with this? Oral tradition, the oath taking. Okay, because in the pre-modern world, right? More is to be gained from your capacity to keep your word than your capacity to break it. Okay? More is to be, if we're just talking on a gaining basis and just gaining things, just a transactional kind of mentality. More is to be gained by your capacity to keep oaths. That's why this country is run by Freemasons, or maybe it's not anymore. I don't know. But at one point, it was completely run by Freemasons because these are people that are in an order where they're practicing the capacity to take oaths. So that when I need to do something, I know this person right there is solid, and we can do this thing without it becoming an issue, right? And I can coordinate with this and that person. Or if I put this thing in that person's hand and I come back, it's still going to be here, right? 100 years later, 50 years later, 20 years later, 2 days later. You understand, right? So the capacity to keep oaths. Now, everybody in the community doesn't have to have the capacity to keep oaths, but the people who you entrust with authority do have to have the capacity to do this. And then you have to have the capacity to keep oath amongst each other, right? What allows a person to have the capacity to keep oath is having a shared idea of what is sacred, right? Being able to swear on something that is sacred or hold something sacred mutually, okay? A lot of Abrahamic religions discourage this amongst the followers, but they encourage it amongst the clergy and the leadership, because once you tell a certain group that that's not their thing, and another group it is their thing, then it becomes a control thing, right? Whichever ones can keep that oath can keep whatever they're going on for 500, 600, 700 years. Those who can't keep it, it's just going to be a few weeks until they get into a fight, until they get into an argument, and that kind of thing, right? The West has substituted the capacity to keep oaths with contracts, right? With contracts. So however the hell people want to do it, and that is what's sacred to most people, like contracts and the Western legal system and that kind of thing. So maybe that can be their source of oath taking. But the capacity to take oaths is another one, right? And then this kind of goes back to the cyclical, that idea of keeping the thing alive through tradition is the capacity to venerate the spark that brought this thing into existence. The capacity to venerate the spark that brought this thing into existence. Okay. So right now, I don't know how deep I want to get. Right now, there's a lot going on in America politically, right? Pay attention if you want to know what they're trying to do, which I think is pretty obvious, but we can talk about that if you guys have questions. Pay attention to who they're targeting. Pay attention to who they're targeting that is no longer alive. Okay? Because there are certain spirits that become the pillar that holds a house together. And when you chip away at that particular spirit, the whole thing comes crumbling. Yeah, Nabi, what's up? Yes.
For some reason, London needs you.
She'll be okay. I think she needs to sleep. So I want you to be a leader. I want you to shut the TV off. Hola, Chere. I want you to shut the TV off and lie down, okay? And if you do that, she'll do that. Okay? Can you hear me?
But she'll just cry.
No, she won't. And if she cries after a while, I'll get her. But don't tell her I said that. Go lie down. I'll do my. All right. So let me see if you guys have any. Oh yeah. So certain spirits become spirits are like it's real. The whole world is built on spirit, right? The whole world is built on spirits. There are spirits that hold certain things up, right? There's a reason you haven't gotten a George Washington movie, right? We'll throw you a Lincoln one, but we're not giving you a George Washington movie, right? That kind of thing. Especially in the modern, like in the past 40 years, where people got all these little liberal ideas floating in their head, right? That kind of thing. No, ma, I do. No, ndị be gị kwanụ ha dị mma, ndị be m dị mma, ndị be m dị mma, ọ dị mma, ishike, udo nwanne, ndewo Bevlin. I don't like you calling you Beverly, though. Feels like I've been led here, so fuck it. Vera, we welcome you, or I welcome you very, very, very much. That's hilarious. That's a very funny first sentence. Okay. Recently reached out to an uncle I grew up with because I remember his birthday. He's my mom's brother. She's not. close with her family. He didn't seem that thrilled that I reached out. I want to run and hide. My shell is back up. What's what say you? Okay. Oh, that's a whack answer. Oh, this is a different person. Okay. Um Vera, the story you're giving me has there's a lot more there that I know that isn't being expressed. And yes, hola, hola, hola. Hold on, let me go get my daughter. Give me a minute. Hola, what's going on? Hola, why are you not sleeping? No, it's just no, you can handle it yourself. I'll bring her back. All right, y'all, we are back. Okay, Ola, lay down. Okay, so your situation sounds like it's got something in here, baby girl. The situation you shared, Vera, seems like Ola, face this way, face this way. The situation you shared seems like it has a lot of untold stories. I recently reached out to my uncle, grew up with because I remembered it's his birthday. He's my mom's brother. She's not close with her family. He did not seem thrilled that I reached out. I wanted to run and hide back in my shell and so forth. So it's really cool, Vera. It's really cool that you reached out the way you did. That's what kind of what I mean by community, right? So regardless of the situation, you said this is this person's birthday. Um, I there's a lot more to that story that there's too many missing pieces for me to just say something, right? How I define how families should be. Yeah, yeah, I agree. Okay, do Indeed will have an
My
equivalent.
nail hurts.
Oh, sorry, Mama.
I cut my nails.
Ndo, ndo. Oh, nyamakage, nyamakage. All right, so where are we at? Do Indeed will have the equivalent concept of the Hindu prana or breath. Okay, so Divine King, can you give me a little more detail on prana and breath? We have this concept known as umendu, which is the breathing of life. So the story of umendu is this. The original food in some takes of it, right, and some tellings of this story, in the first world age where human beings were able to traverse from Obichuku to Alamad, the world of the living, at will, we were Obichuku, yes, Obichuku. Yes, we were like light beings or thought forms, right? Think of us as light beings or thought forms in Chuku. In this time, it was said that human beings only needed to eat by breathing, that breathing is a relic of this era, right? Breathing being a relic of Ugaaka when the connection to Chuku was at its highest, breathing is also the route back to that connection. You understand? So there's this practice known as umend, right? Life breathing. A lot of it looks like what you would see in the Eastern breathing practices, but there are some differences. Um, there's not as much an emphasis on like stillness or isolation. But yeah, you can the breath as well. One of the names of Chukwu is Ogene, right? And Ogene is a bell. It's like a bell with two prongs. A bell with two prongs. And the bell when you're playing Ogene music, the first person that's going to play is the person that's holding the Ogene, and they're going to play whatever it is that they want until somebody else holding an instrument starts feeling what they're playing, and then they go, okay, I'm going to throw my own in there, right? And another person throws their own, and then all of a sudden we have this song that is led by the Ogene. But as once we get going, the Ogene can just stop, and all of a sudden everybody will react. The Ogene can start again, everybody will start going again, right? So in the human body, the Ogene is Shuku. Okay, that Ogene is Chuku or Chineke. Let me say my bad. That Ogene is China Eke. Okay, is china eke, that ogene, that bell, on a musical level. On a physical, biological level, it is the two lungs. Figure some of my beard. On a physical, biological level, it is the two lungs. Your two lungs, right? So your two lungs are playing a rhythm, which the rest of the body plays its own rhythm. Your heart is going to play a rhythm. Your mind is going to play a rhythm. Everything else is going to play a rhythm. And then they create the music that is you. Okay. But then if you stop your breathing, this is the same thing with yoga and music. Everything changes, right? If you speed up your breathing, then everything speeds up. Everything, your thoughts change, right? If you slow down your breathing, your thoughts change. Your heart changes, right? Everything changes. So if that sounds like prana, the breathing, then yeah, for sure, definitely. Ah, Sima, ndewo nwanne, ndewo, kedu ka ị dị? Are you a Rizzler? I thought I was a Rizzler when I was in my 20s, so but I don't I'm not a part of that world anymore. Hey, what's up? Mama, lie down, lie down.
Lips.
Lips?
Yeah.
Okay, no problem. Okay. Yeah, yeah. Okay, where are we at? Medea's house. Are you trying to say Medea's house? But yeah, kind of similar concept. In Ohafia, LGA, some towns in Arochukwu, also Ebonyi, practice maternal bloodline. Yeah, I've heard. I have heard this. I would like to see how this thing is being exercised or how it's being practiced when they say that, right? Because I hear that as well. So I'd be interested. Is it in Ohafia? Is it that when you get married, the man moves into the wife's house? Is that what it is? Because if you can explain that to me, it'll be good. Kedu ebe moderator now, man. Somebody went crazy. I do my ebe. I do my. Hmm?
The heels British house.
Really?
The heels British house.
Really?
Yes.
Nice. Okay. Somebody said surprise, surprise. Creative force and devil. Surprise, surprise. Oh, you have to close your eyes, okay?
We're gonna have a party.
You had a party? You want to have a party?
Yeah.
Your birthday party's coming up. All Smiles B asked a question. Did I miss it? All Smiles B asked something that was called a good question. I think I missed it. All right, maybe we passed that one. We shall see. Are the wet and dry seasons Arishi? If so, what does Omenala say about temperate zone seasons? I couldn't imagine anything is said about temperate zone seasons. And no, they're not the wet and dry seasons are not. Well, how do I put it this way? That's a tough question to answer. Or if they're Irish, I think I don't. In a way, yes. In a way, yes. But the reason it's hard to answer that is because the Igbo language personifies a lot of things. It gives things a lot of human-like attributes or person attributes, right? So, sometimes it's described person-like, but I don't think so. I don't think that they're considered like Irish or anything. I don't know. I don't think they're considered Irish. Could be wrong though. Brazil is in the house, and damn Brazil. I'm trying to reach more people in Brazil. Person from Brazil. Do I need to put my videos in Portuguese or what? How could I get more people from Brazil? Because you guys have been very supportive from the beginning, but it's always like a few at a time. I wanna tap into my people over there. Yo, hair on fire. I feel like Gen Z and or maybe Gen Alpha. I feel like you guys aren't as funny as me. Like I really don't think you guys are as funny. Like you guys aren't that funny. You know what I mean? Like so, are you a Rizzler? Like, oh, you got me, buddy. You know what I mean? Like, Gen Z, Gen Alpha. I don't think we were hilarious on the internet, bro. We still are. We still are. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, right? I like Drewski, all of them. They're funny. Uh, do you know another name for prana is chi? Okay, well there you go. Right. Adumma, Adumma. It was a good explanation. From what I understand, prana is a spiritual component of air. Okay, same effect, nervous system, oxygen. So, Divine King, appreciate you breaking that down. Hmm? Okay. Is what?
Daddy's not a chef.
Daddy's not a chef?
No.
You're right. You're right. Take it easy. Oh, Medea comes from Madeir, which is my dear, but in Oh, I didn't know that. That's hilarious. Okay. I'll do my cool. So is that tradition of going to the matriarch's house, is that the same thing? Is that referred to as Madeir? I'll do my. One of the things I like about uh, starting having the medicine show is like I've learned so much about like Black American culture beyond the popular aspects. You know what I mean? I think that like the music, the movies, they reach everywhere, but there are certain things like the granular, deep things that you guys share with me, and it always blows my mind. So I'll do my thanks for sharing that. Phoenix is actually Greek. No. Can you give us a crash course on the way you meditate, breathe? Oh, okay, cool. Definitely. I love sharing this. So, if this helps anybody, adapt it, because it has done a lot for me, right? So, the way I meditate, what I do when I meditate is I'll go to somewhere quiet, right? Of course, I tend to want the door shut. Something about the energy of my thought, like the way my thoughts happen, it's better. Like right now, the door's open. So in fact, watch. Once the door shuts, the bars start coming, right? So something about me, the door has to be shut. So I shut the door, and just your typical sitting down and breathing, right? And breathing and breathing. Now my eyes are closed. What I do is I'll start from the top of my head and I'll tell myself, okay, relax your scalp, even though you can't do that, right? Well, I'll try to relax my scalp, right? Now I'll move down. I'll relax my forehead, right? I'll move down, I'll relax my eyes. I'll move down, I'll relax my nose. I'm moving a lot slower when I'm doing this, by the way, but I'm gonna explain it quickly, right? I go down, I relax my mouth. I go down, relax my jaw, relax my neck, relax my shoulders, and I just go all the way down, just relax piece by piece. I'm relaxing every single thing on my body, relaxing fingers. It will really surprise you what parts of your body that you're tensing up for no reason, right? We walk around throughout the day just tensing different parts of our body up, and we're not sure why we're tired. But if you were to, let's say, I'm holding this pen, if you were to just be doing this for 48 hours, 24 hours, 12 hours, you're going to feel something. But sometimes you do that with your shoulder. Sometimes you're doing it with your jaw. Sometimes you're doing it with your eyes, your brow line, that kind of thing. So I just go all the way down. I'm relaxing everything, relaxing everything. Once I've relaxed absolutely, and I'm not thinking about the next thing too. So this is a hard one to do, but just think about one thought at a time. One thought at a time. Don't, sometimes I don't, sometimes I feel that if you tell somebody the process, they keep, while they're on step two, they start thinking about step three. Don't do that, right? If possible. So once I go down everything and I've relaxed absolutely everything, I just continue breathing and continue breathing and continue breathing. If my thoughts have not quieted themselves by now, sometimes I'll hold my breath. Okay? I'll hold my breath until the only thing I can think about is my breathing, right? You're just holding your breath does that to you. I'll hold my breath till the only thing I can think about is my breathing. And then I release. And I just continue doing this until I don't have a single thought in my head, right? And what you'll start seeing doing after some time, at least for me, is you'll literally see your thoughts emerge and then leave and emerge and then leave. And it's a great way of experiencing yourself as independent from your mind, okay? As independent from your body as well. And I'll sit in this space, and I'll sit in this space, and I'll sit in this space. And then I don't plan when I'm going to get up. I don't say I'm going to get up in 1 minute, 30 minutes, whatever. Whenever I just open my eyes and I get up, right? Like, immediately get up. My brother, Screwface, he had his best friend growing up was a very, very autistic. And he used to, we'd be playing video games, and then he'd just stand up and just and walk out. And we're like, hey, where you going? Gotta go home. So I gotta do that. No warning, no nothing. I just get up and I go. And the reason I do that is because that state that I'm in, I want to operate in the world in that state. I want to be operating that world, breathing that way, having a better relationship with the flow of my thoughts that way, having my body at ease that way, and that kind of thing. So once you get up and just start walking in that state and continue your meditation as you live and so forth, okay? After a while, it'll wear off. You'll forget about it unless you're just really good at it and that kind of thing. But that's how I meditate, right? And it's done wonders for me. I don't know. Okay, so so Angel DeBabe says no. You move to your husband's house. Your children will bear your husband's surname, but the kids are owned by the mom's lineage, and your dad, by way.
Oh, wow.
By your mom's lineage and the child's dad. I'm thinking by way of his mom's lineage. That is really, really interesting. Okay, that is really interesting. Medea is Greek. Medea is black, but pronounced like Medea. I didn't know that.
No, I want answer.
What?
I want answer.
Yes. Okay, where are we at? Adema. Can you please tell us where to find Igbo breathing technique in your online library? Good question. I don't know if I have a resource on it, but I will point you to a channel. Just type UME space NDU. I can't remember his name, but he has a YouTube channel, and he has a couple of videos on Umendo, Igbo breathing practices, the healing power of Igbo breathing practices, and I want to say he has a book. If I can search for it right now, I'll give you UME NDU, right? Yes, Mama? Okay, this is the last time you have to go to sleep. Okay, sleep. And so what was I gonna say? Yeah, so UME space NDU. Type it on YouTube and see what pops up. There's a guy, I just can't remember his name. I almost feel like his name has like the word professor in it, but I'm not sure. If it doesn't, he has a professorly aura. Yes, Kaba. Mama, you're gonna go to your room. Lie down.
No.
All right.
I'm still hungry.
What?
I'm still hungry.
Okay, we'll go get some more food when we're done, okay? All right, take a nap. Okay, when you're asking about Iku, your answer is always your mom's lineage first. Okay, and it connects to your town of origin, but not. That's interesting. Okay, I didn't know that. So I've been told, of course, I know about Ohafia being matrilineal. I just didn't know how that was exercised. Like, what does that look like in real life? So that is good that you shared that, because a lot of the answers I've gotten before didn't. I'd be like, okay, is it that the dad joins them? And then people just say no. I'm like, okay, then how is the match? But your answer was really good, Angel the Pig. I appreciate that. Taiwan voice says Trump. All right. It's all good, Phoenix. That's common misconception. If you study theater, Medea is one of the things you learn about. Interesting. Oh, I'm only talking about Medea. Okay, you guys are still going on. Laura, Laura says, "Will you be my grandpa?" Okay. Yeah, I feel like millennials are way funnier
Grandpa?
trolls than like Gen Z. You can tell it's Gen Z. They always be like, oh,
There's no
do you
grandpa.
like Diddy?"
Daddy,
Like,
there's no
like, all
grandpa.
right,
Daddy,
you're really
there's no
shaking it up there, aren't you,
grandpa.
buddy?
Daddy, there's
Do
no
you like Diddy?
grandpa.
What's another one they
Daddy,
do?
there's no grandpa.
Yes, there's no grandpa.
Yeah.
I think you're right. Okay. My daughter inherited my pension for opinions, so this is gonna take a long time. I'm laughing. You mentioned the Mommy Wata book. You mentioned them. It took. Wait, the Mommy Wata book is sold out. What? You mentioned Mommy Wata book and not it's sold out. It took so long to get. The lady who wrote the book should give you some of these royalties. Man, I'm telling you. Right. I've been shouting out that book a lot. So yeah, for real. It's all good though. Do you think it's ethical for Black Americans to go back to Africa and find community, or should we work towards something here? Oh, that's a good question. If it's ethical, yeah, of course it's. I think it's yeah. Let me not say of course. Yeah, it's ethical to go back. I don't. There's nothing wrong with going to Africa and finding community. It really is the person's choice, right? It really is the person's choice. I think there's a lot more. I think it would make more sense to establish something here, right? Because regardless of how you got here, you're here and your ancestors are buried here as well, right? But it's not possible without having a connection back home, right? Like, why do you think we're in NATO? You understand? Because them folk know that, okay, I'm really from there, right? But I'm here, you know what I mean? And this is my country too, right? So it's the same thing. So those ties will do a lot more in building what is here. I don't buy that. I don't like get into the whole, oh, everybody should just get up and go to Africa. I don't, that's not as, it's not gonna do anything for anybody. But if individuals find it beneficial to them as individuals and so forth, then absolutely. Yes, what's up? On crackers?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll go get crackers in a minute, okay? Hold on. Does one join and assimilate spiritual community but want to be okay? How does one join or assimilate to one spiritual community but want to be part of more than just one? So a lot of spiritual communities or approaches to spirit and so forth, that question is answered by the practice itself. Some say no, you can only go here and nowhere else. Some say explore as much as you. Exploration is a part of the process. As far as Odinani goes, to tell you the truth, we have a strong understanding that exploration is a part of the process, and we don't have this like traditionally, right? Even like our most famous DBOs will practice with different cultures and they'll learn things from different cultures and pick things up from different cultures and so forth. It's normal. It's just whatever works. And sometimes your path takes you over here and takes you over there and takes you over there, or takes you to multiple places at once. Now, is facing all these different directions causing you confusion? Oh, chill, please. Is it causing confusion? Is it, you ever see that meme where the guy's eyes are going in two different directions? If it's not doing that, then that's whatever. But as far as Odinani goes, there's no real, like your spiritual community is your family, right? Some people would like to create a dynamic where that's not what it is, but it is. That is what it is. Your spiritual community is your family, as far as Odinani goes. And as far as, honestly, all African ATRs, right? There's a reason you're talking about your ancestors and not my ancestors, right? Or Abraham and Jacob's ancestors. Your spiritual community is your family, in the African sense. But if your spiritual community is your family, can you take a look at Buddhism and go to church and do this? Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. But sometimes when you go into those places, it tells you to start chipping away and deteriorating that other thing that you came from. So it depends on the tradition you're engaging with. But knowledge is knowledge. Okay, can you share more about Mami Wata? Okay, cool. I can. So Mami Wata gets used as a term for Nemiri. It's either used for Nemiri or it's used to say a certain type of being that comes from Owamiri or the world of water. And this is the siren. Okay. Some people will mistake a Mami Wata as, like, let me say it this way. I clearly differentiate between Nemiri and Mami Wata because otherwise it'll cause confusion to somebody who's new, right? And this is why. Mami Wata is a being that lives in water, but it is not Nemiri herself. It is not water herself, right? It is a member of what they refer to as Uwamiri, the world of water, right? The general idea about this particular being is when working with her, she can bring you everything in the world except relationship stability, children, and marriage. You're not getting that. In fact, you're going to lose those things dealing with this particular being. Being that we come from a communal culture, this being is horrifying, right? Because it's taken away the three things that are most important in the development of a young person's life. Okay, and so, but wealth, all those other things can be. She will work with you and give all those things, but in exchange for that. The reason is when you are working with the spirit, you become more like the spirit, and that particular spirit cannot have children, and because it cannot have children, um, those that are locked in with it somehow, some way, fall into the same kind of predicament situation. So, because of the nature of our culture, Mami Wata is not a good thing, right? It's not a good thing. But Mami Wata gets confused with Nemiri a lot, and they are not the same thing. Obanje is also from Owamiri, and we know that Obanje and Nemiri is not the same thing. Okay, so yeah, sirens usually seduce men, um, associated with the spirit of like feminine youth and that kind of thing. So I hope that helps. This Madeira debate you guys are having is killing me. Umend. Well, thank you for typing that, Angel to Babe. Hello from Russia. Hey, welcome, welcome. Way to stop on top of things. Man, Phoenix is coming with that sniper rifle. I do my. Visit a few places, different regions. Okay, I'm definitely consider splitting life between here and somewhere in Nigeria, but the inflation and wealth gap there now makes me weary of coming in with my American money and makes it worse. I don't think you're gonna hurt anybody coming in with your American money. I think if anything, people will annoy you because you have American money, and with time, you'll come to understand that it's okay, that's fine. But yeah, that's then it's not gonna hurt anybody if you're coming in with American money. There's this like narrative like I keep seeing where it's like, oh, you're going here with your American money and the locals, they don't have that much money. Yeah, you come in with the American money, you spend it, and then they get more money. You know what I mean? It's good. It's a good thing. Like you doing that helps. You coming in there with that helps. Now there's this thing about, oh, the prices go up, and that is true, right? But the availability of money also goes up too. Okay, the availability of money also goes up too. Just don't be just be mindful, I guess. um there was a my dad went to Nigeria when he was in college. He took his white friend, and his white friend was very wealthy, and he took him to the village, and the white friend, my dad said he completely lost, like he didn't want to go back. He did not want to go back whatsoever. He was like stuck, right? And one day the women in the village came and complained to my dad because he was fascinated by Njaba Nkwo. Njaba Nkwo is our main shrine in the community. And when you go to Njaba Nkwo, all the pythons. Hmm?
What's this?
It's a syringe. It's a syringe.
It's a thermometer.
No, it's not a thermometer. It's a syringe used to give shots. Are you healthy?
Yeah.
Great. Here, give me a shot. So, if you go to my main community shrine is to the river in Java, right? Our land is owned by the river in Java, so she's our main community shrine. A lot of communities will be Allah, but ours is in Java, which is a little different, right?
I'm healthy.
Yes, now I'm healthy. And so,
Now I'm healthy.
yes, you are. And so, what all the pythons in the community all gather at this one place, and that's where the shrine is at, right? And so, what this this Caucasian gentleman used to do was he would go to the market and he would buy like 10, 12 chickens, and he would just take it to Njabanko and just be feeding the pythons. And he was obsessed with this. And so he started causing like inflation in the price of chickens, and he also caused like a scarcity, like a chicken scarcity. In like a week or two, he caused like a chicken scarcity, and my dad had to tell him to stop and that kind of thing. Their friendship ended because this jackass went and took a bunch of candy and threw it on the floor, and then kids were picking it up and he started like filming them, and so my dad broke his camera and started, and his ass then went home. Yeah, and never came back. But yeah, so as long as you're not like causing chicken scarcities and shit, then fucking, you know what I mean, it's cool. But yeah, go there. You know, your American money actually helps. It helps a lot. Like if somebody where I always see it is like with hair braiding. Like people be like, "Oh, you guys are going and taking advantage of these women," and it's like, okay, if you are coming in here and paying me 4 times what I get to braid hair, which is 10% what you pay to braid hair, we both win, right? And then I take this money, I can pay for my kids' school a little easier. I can invest a little bit more in my business and grow it. Now maybe I can open up another stall and bring up another girl from my community, and now she's got a place. It helps. All that helps. So yeah, just don't go there. Act like what's that one? Onaija, the woman in Pakistan. Yeah, just it's like not being rude or anything like that. I don't think anybody minds. Like we already Nigeria. White people haven't said it yet, but Nigeria is the number one tourist destination in the world. And once white people say it, it'll be people will now consider it official, but it is. And the reason it is because every December season, you have like close to 12 million people all just fly into the country with their foreign money. So people are already used to it. Oh, styrofoam? Yeah, people are already used to it. It doesn't hurt anybody, and the money made in that season carries like is what people use to plan like the advancement of their lives, right? So yeah, the more the merrier. But yeah, every single person or almost everybody abroad goes back in December. More than Mecca, more than Paris, more than all these places they'll tell you. But once the Caucasians have made it official, it'll be official. What? You want some crackers?
Yeah.
All right, guys, we're gonna get some We're gonna get some crackers. Hold on. Yeah. Okay. Where are we at? I've been to Kenya, Nigeria, Ghana. I don't have any contacts, and I know it's needed. Yeah, it helps to have contacts in Nigeria. Nigeria is not designed for tourism. It's not structured for tourism. So if you're, you're not gonna get these are the good spots to eat. That's just not gonna happen. You're just gonna have to know somebody. Maybe in the future it'll be. I think Lagos is trying to structure itself more for that. But if you're trying to go to the real deal spots, then no, they're not structured that way. Also, don't go as a tourist, right? Don't go as a tourist. Hold on. You know what? It's yummy. You don't want? You want spaghetti? There's no crackers. There's no crackers. Do you want smoothie? You want smoothie?
It's just yogurt.
Do you want yogurt?
No, it's just the
Is what?
milk.
What?
It's just the milk.
Milk?
Yeah.
No, that's almond milk.
Yeah.
You want milk? That's so random. Um, let's eat. Oh, you want grapes?
No.
You want grapes?
Top.
Hmm?
Top.
You want a cup
Yeah.
of grapes?
Yeah.
Okay, let's do grapes. All right, let's see what's going on, guys. You've got some decent experience. Try Uganda, South Africa, Liberia, Sierra Leone as well. They make offers for reparations. South Africa's the most, bro. I'm not gonna lie. I can't. I don't understand going to South Africa as an American. I don't get it. I don't see the point. But if you guys, if you're looking for something similar to the environment you're from, so you don't get too much like sticker shock or culture like feel disoriented, adjustment issues, I'm sure South Africa's a good choice. But I just like fuck that, dude. Never. Uh, hold on. South Africa's like they always say it's like Africa with training wheels. But I just don't see the point of going there. But and I don't know. I'm used to the environment, so maybe it's different for me. Uh, People want you to spend that American money, but the U.S. government says that the dollar will be trash soon if they don't do something. Yes, yes, the U.S. dollar is under a lot of threat and low key under a lot of attack. But the world has gotten tired of how willing the U.S. is to politicize its dollar.
I know.
Are you laughing?
Yes.
You want more grapes? Yeah. So the world is getting tired of how the U.S. wants to politicize or uses its dollar, politicizes its dollar. So the reason there's that inflation in Zimbabwe is because once Mugabe asked all the Mzungus, as they say over there, that if they can't prove how they got their land, if they can't show the deed of purchase for their land, they have to forfeit it. And so Britain and the U.S. Put an embargo blocking Zimbabwe from the U.S. dollar, which then chokes out their money.
It's just coffee.
Is what?
It's just coffee.
It's not coffee. It's grapes.
It's just.
Come on. And so they blocked off the Zimbabwean dollar and that kind of thing. And so, but everybody saw that, and they saw all these other embargoes with Iran and all that stuff, and they said, you know what? This is just not a stable bet. And so, to keep themselves safe, everybody is de-dollarized. Everybody is rapidly getting the hell away from the U.S. dollar. And I don't think the U.S. knows any other way to interact with the rest of the world. I think the world's parochial, except in a parochial kind of you must do what I say way. And there's also this like information, like we're really in an information bubble in this country. We don't get any information about anything that the U.S. government doesn't want us to. And I think what's actually created a situation where we now have politicians that were raised in that situation, and they don't know shit from nothing, and so they can't really operate internationally. There you go. Okay, you can eat it yourself, no problem. So yeah, junior doctor. So yeah, the U.S. dollar might be is on the decline at the moment. People don't really want it as much as they used to before. China came and filled in a lot of those gaps, like with Zimbabwe. China said, "Okay, we'll trade with you. We don't care," and that kind of thing. And then the French people wrote in the newspapers, China's colonizing Africa. And then now people are gonna ask me about, oh man, we gotta stop the Chinese from colonizing Africa. Like, all right, man. All right, bro. Who told you that? Who told you that? You know, that kind of thing. The medicine syringe, lol, hark, hark, hark. Being a single man climbing on the rocker. Huh? Your dad is a real GI. Yeah, no, my dad is a G on levels that cannot be comprehended or shared on the internet. But yeah, no. But yeah, the guy refused to go home. I'd probably want to start a business. I think you have to start a business. if you were there. And there are some things like, so the last time I was in Nigeria, right, and things have changed very rapidly in the amount of time I've been gone. But I remember when I was in the East, there's some things that like we take for granted that people don't have, as it's not as easy to access over there. It's like a foreign commodity. But then there's things over there that is just like as common as air. But in the West, it's like a high commodity. Like people at home will flip if they heard that people buy shea butter for like $10, that kind of thing, But like at the same time, I remember when I was in the East, it was hard to get a hold of what they used to call or like iron batteries, which is just your normal. I don't think we know any other kind of battery in America, right? So if you started a business selling batteries at that time, you'd do very well for yourself, right? And that's kind of what's good about international trade. It's really about taking whatever you have abundant and then is scarce somewhere and just taking it over there and that kind of thing, or however you want to do your business. But I think it's a necessity to have a business in Nigeria. It's not the type of place where you fill out resumes and walk around looking for a job. Which, if you did that too, you could find a job, right? You could find a job, but it's very competitive. She's in Dubai, apparently. Yeah, sure. That chick was annoying. Pakistanis have made chips with her face on the bag. Yeah, I saw. All right, I'm going to tell you guys a story. So we had the exact same archetype of a person come to our village. There was a guy in my town, his house is very close to mine, who got a girlfriend from the US. And after trying his hardest and yada, 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 the girlfriend comes over to Nigeria. My sister sends me a video and she's like, hey, I think this person's trans. And I'm like, what? Because I remember the person was like, they were like all over like my hometown social media. Like people kept posting videos of them doing random stuff, like the same thing as the own attacker. So my sister sent me, I think this. I'm like, no. And I look closer. I'm like, wait, yeah. And I guess so. I guess at one point, like not on like, and so he didn't know that. And he's trying to have kids, and it becomes somebody from America now goes, no, this person, and then it becomes this big controversy and yada yada yada, and then she starts threatening to shoot people. I wish I would have brought my gun. I would have shot. Blah blah blah. She's trying to shoot. Just kept threatening to shoot people over and over and over and over and over. And then I end up figuring out that in a past life, in that person's previous life, their previous identity, they were like they had gotten away with like a murder because it was considered self-defense or something. It was the most insane thing ever. And then like this story's not gonna make sense to anybody, so maybe I'll just skip the story. But like they ended up getting into a fight with like the head of like a militia group. It was just madness. It's not gonna. There's too many things that require context for me to share. But yeah, it was the same thing. Like they kept going viral for behaving just like Onaja or Niger, whatever her name is, just doing the same kind of thing. Literally demanding land. That this guy. I'm not gonna say his name. That's her husband. And she, I'm supposed to have land. You're supposed to give me land, and that kind of thing. And people were, accommodating, local celebrity. Everybody loved her, but my dad kept pointing out, like, this person keeps saying they want to shoot people, like, a lot. Like, and that's how I ended up figuring out that this person had shot people before. They're not playing, that kind of thing. So we had a similar thing happen in my village anyway. They ended up getting a divorce because the American one was very abusive to the husband, like extremely abusive to the husband. And he had to came to America and he had to like escape and go into hiding and that kind of thing. And it's a very gentle guy. So I had a great time in Lagos. Definitely went as a tourist. I think going to Lagos as a tourist makes sense. That's fine. You know, it's more structured for that, right? Oh, what's all the good restaurants and that kind of thing, right? So, but I don't know. Let me not demark it anywhere. If you're looking for good tourist towns, Lagos is great. Abuja is great. Owerri is great. Enugu is great. They say Calabar is great, but I don't know too much about it, and I feel like that's a lot of that is like old reputation, but I'm not sure. Um, uh, Uyo is great, though Uyo is still growing, so it's like small. You might run out of things to do. There they go some other cool places. Oguta is awesome. Oguta's by my village, so yeah, I go there. I'm trying to think of some other places. And then the north is super, super interesting. So if you want to see like all these medieval buildings and all these really cool things, like if you're a history person, the north is a very cool place to go. I'm sure Benin City is cool to go to too. But yeah, where are we at? Yeah, go to OU Travels. They do like drone shots of different cities in Igbo land and really different villages. It's cool stuff. She's in Dubai now, apparently. Hold on. Ndị zoo Giobama n'olu. Onye ofe mmanụ chọrọ minority tribes okwu. Ha ji ya n'ala. Okay, ọ dị mma. Yeah, it's all to ndị ofe mmanụ na-eme now. But so what my good friend Angel DeBib just said was that Twitter is hot right now, and that the everybody has got Obama by the throat, and so it's recently been revealed by Donald Trump that the United States through U.S. aid has been paying for Boko Haram, for ISIS, for ISWAP, for every terrorist group in West Africa is directly funded by the United States U.S. aid program, and it was recently revealed. What are you doing? That's not what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to eat it. So yeah, so the U.S. aid program has been funding Boko Haram the entire time. It was obvious. It was obvious. Everybody knew this except outside Yoruba people. And now they're telling, oh, I didn't know. Oh my God, wow, can you believe it? Yeah. We told you. We told you. Bring back our girls. I'm trying not to suspect people for being feds too much, because that's kind of crazy. But I remember when Bring Back Our Girls started, and it was this guy. It was a secretary to a politician who is a genocidal bastard. His name is Nasser Al Rufai, and one of his secretaries go, "Can you believe they just kidnapped 187 girls in a school in Chibuk, and nobody did anything about it?" And then everybody's like, "Wait, okay, so give us more information if you know about this. Like, you're the one coming with the news." He didn't have nothing. And then I swear, listen, Igwe, you're my witness. Chris Brown now tweets this thing. Chris Brown, I'm saying it right now. Chris Brown tweets this thing. And then I'm like, the fuck? and then it just goes viral. Boom, 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 boom. And I hope my memory is serving me correctly. I swear Chris Brown was in jail at that time, but I could be wrong about that detail. It goes from this guy's obscure secretary to Chris Brown to Michelle Obama, and then boom, 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 viral, viral, viral. And the number keeps shifting and shifting. At first it's 187, then it was like it got damn near up to like 300 something, then it went back to 200 something, and it went back to, I think they ended up settling at like 325 girls. And then like everybody in Nigeria, or like I'm gonna say it straight up, every non-Yoruba and Hausa person said 300 girls were taking a test in a rural school at night. At night. And it wasn't a boarding school. They were all called into the school at night in a school with no electricity. The president asked, does the school have power? The teacher said the principal said no. So the bungalow school with no electricity. And we're just looking at this like, what the hell? But they were trying to get their candidate. Oh, I stopped that. They were trying to get their candidate to win the election. And it was just some bullshit. But I remember it went from Nasser El Rufai's secretary to Chris Brown. And so when these things happen, I'm like, why am I the only one seeing this? Like, this is insane, you know? But yeah, it was, and I'm sure if you ask her, I mean, you don't know. I think he's the one that came up with the hashtag. So it was obviously the U.S., right? It was obviously, it looked like American style. I can tell American style marketing when I see it, right? America has a very specific way it markets, but it's super effective, and everybody falls for it, right? Like who's this? They're gonna shut my live down. Who's this Ibrahim Traore? That's all U.S., bro. That's all you. That's all you. That's all Steven Spielberg. That shit, nah, man. That's all U.S. But I'm the only one saying maybe one day, Trump will go crazy and leak that too. But that's all that is. Anyways, no, Matt Gaetz already said it. So. Nizu Giordano Nulu. So yeah, so for that reason, they use that to remove the reason they did that was because around that time the country was due to audit the foreign oil companies, and Nigeria has never audited them. Like whenever it's time, they always postpone it, and the secretary said that no, she's gonna do it. And the next thing you know, 300 girls were kidnapped from a school that when they were taking a test at like 11 p.m. at night, and the woman was now wanted, the secretary. She's now wanted for stealing 20 billion US dollars, right? And that's not a realistic amount of money. I'm not saying she didn't steal anything. She stole something, but and so just all these shenanigans. So the oil companies didn't get audited, and then they had the Buhari take over as the next guy, and it was just obviously the U.S., but people trust and love America so much. Even Americans, they trust and love them that it's very hard to tell somebody, even though they know America does bullshit. It's very hard to tell somebody America's doing some bullshit in real time, right? Because the way America structures things is that by the time they start doing some BS, they're going to make you love the BS, and they're going to make you root for the BS, and they're going to make that if you go against the BS, you're a bad guy. So if I now say, man, didn't nobody get kidnapped from no damn school, it's like, oh, wow, you have no empathy, right? That kind of thing. So, got us, I heard on our way back in the U.S. now, trying to escape Dubai. South Africa terrifies me. The most feral white people, the type of white people that white people think are racist. The most raw concentrate of everything disagreeable about white people in South Africa. That's just who is there. And so imagine me, I'm going to go to Africa. But I'm going to the Africa that's themed around like antebellum Salem. I'm cool, bro. I'm cool. I'm not doing that. That's crazy. There you go, more. Oh, yeah. I want to see the Oshun Sacred Grove. That would be dope. Yeah, that would be dope. But the guy showing me around said, "Nah, yeah, no, you can't be. You gotta go. You gotta get with a real. You gotta get with one of the real ones. You gotta get with one of the real ones." I was there for 10 days. I wanted to go to Banana Island and other parts. Wow, that's dope. U.S. and France too. Yeah. I fly straight to where from their activities till a few hours coming back to New York. Yeah. Anytime I land in Nigeria, I go straight to where direct. I can't be the only one too. So. Man, we're being ushered into Armageddon in the U.S. We're gonna be a third world soon. I think. So obviously, yes, we are going to be a third world country soon. But I also think the reason there's not much resistance from the other side is because the government is fully aware that it can no longer afford to be what it used to be, right? The US government is very aware, both sides, they are aware that they can no longer afford to be what they used to be or what they propose themselves to be. And they have to find a way to scale down and withdraw from being the world police, right? Withdraw from being the world police because they can't afford to do it anymore, and it is more expense than it is gain. Every single empire eventually figures out that it's running on ego, and whatever its activities are costing it more than it's gaining. And then in the process of realizing that, they begin their collapse because they are built around empire, right? Empire is like a disease. Empire is like a disease, okay? They don't want to deal with shady person, don't want to take around. Okay, be careful now. Their political movie with Russia, Ukraine, Israel, one corner. Okay, good. Yeah. It's like film. Y'all think I film. Creative, yes, noise, laggies, hold up. I lived in Lagos for a while. Nope to that crowd. I can't live in Lagos. It's just too many people, and it's just too. But the energy in Lagos is you'll never find that anywhere else in the world. You can light 10 countries with just the energy. Like I don't mean like electric. I mean the energy in that place. Everybody is vexing, and it's very. Oh my God. I remember. The guys tell you guys on it. Sometimes I'm telling you guys these stories, and of course, without context, they sound crazy, but like in the actual thing, it's not as crazy. So I remember one time we were driving in Lagos, and then like a police officer, while the car was moving, police officer jumped into our back window, and he put his feet on our he put his feet on our chairs. He's like, "Oh yeah, pull to the side, pull to the side." And I didn't know it was a place like I'm getting robbed, you know. Finally, I turn around, it's a police officer, and I guess my sister-in-law, who I was staying with at the time, I think she was missing some type of like something with the vehicle, maybe with the license or something like that. I don't know. So, but either way, oh no, she was using like the road was restricted at that time, and she tried to use it to go to be quicker, and we got caught. But I thought that shit was crazy. Another time, there was a police officer who was trying to pull us over, and my dad's strategy is just keep driving, right? And which is so my uncle, who's a little more, not unhinged, he stopped, and my dad goes, "Why are you stopping for this goddamn baby?" And then I hear, "Are you calling me a baby?" I turn around, and the police officer dead ass looked like a baby. And because my dad called him a baby, this guy held us for like 15 minutes for no reason. But yeah, no, Lagos, I got the little in times I spend in Lagos, I got a lot of stories. But yeah, no, the energy in Lagos is incredible. If you don't go, like, you can avoid all that madness I'm talking about, and you can there's a lot to be enjoyed, and it's very similar to here. It's like Atlanta on steroids. So you guys will like it. You guys might like it, or might be familiar with it. Pakistani love affair. Is there a train that goes from Accra to, and I'm thinking maybe Lagos? No, but there should be. It's hard to find trains in Africa that go from east to west. They always go from north to south just because of colonialism. But if somebody has some damn sense, some of the governments would have to start now building it. Anything that relies on the government takes forever. But no, it would be nice if there was a train that went from Accra to Lagos. I think that would just be the most logical thing possible. And then from Lagos to like Onitsha, and then from Onitsha to Aba, then Aba, Calabar, and then Douala, Cameroon, and then you have the best, just this incredible thing going on. But they don't have sense. Lagos to Accra. No, there's no train that goes from there Lagos to Accra, but there should be. But if you get a passport, I think Ghana gives citizenships to like descendants of slavery, and so if you get a ECOWAS passport as as a Ghanaian citizen, your passport allows you access to all the countries in ECOWAS, all the countries. So you don't need anything extra. You can just go to Nigeria. You can just go to Togo. You can just go to Senegal. You used to be able to go to like Burkina Faso, but the U.S. came with their bullshit ass propaganda and took them out of ECOWAS. And then try to make it like ECOWAS is the bad guy, which everybody now believes. So one Abiriba man married a trans for 13 years. He or she confessed on the 13th year of marriage. The man is still in therapy. He knew. What is he? How are you? No. You're going to be married to somebody for 14 years. You don't know how they spent the first, at best, at like minimum 15 years of their life. I beg. He knew. He knew. Calabar and Uyo. Yes, Calabar and Uyo are wonderful. But I don't know too much about Calabar. I just know that Uyo is awesome. Typical American with Christopher Columbus. Yeah, yeah, it was like a trans Christopher Columbus. It was bad, man. But everybody loved the tenacity. Everybody loved. There's a thing about Nigerian society. I've been trying to think of a word for it, but like they like abrasion. You understand? Like they like abrasion. I was talking to like a Sudanese friend, and they were saying that their culture is super strict, unlike Nigerian culture. I was like, no, no, no. Nigerian culture is really strict, but we also expect somebody to eventually just go against the thing. You understand? So if somebody's like really abrasive and ridiculous, everybody appreciates that. It's like that person has ginger, you know? Like, that's why I think that's why the food is so spicy. Like everything's so damn painful. You know, the food's gonna be spicy. So even in the village, the kids will be playing knockout, which is like fireworks. They'll light the firecracker, and they'll hold it until it explodes in their hand. And the fun for them is the person's reaction. You understand? So I don't know. Like I don't know the word for it, but like it's like a pro abrasion society. So someone like when talking about shooting this, we're going crazy. Everybody's like, yeah. And I guess they were just recently post op, and they kept trying to show everybody like, like see, like just the eagerness to show everybody was unnerving, And but it turns out the person was like an unbelievably abusive murderer. So I didn't mind. Okay. Oh, I went 6 months after the End SARS protest. Oh, okay. Oh, they told me not to go to the north, even though that's where I'm from. I don't. Okay, so maybe, yeah, probably looking out for you, but if you ask a black human being about the country they live in, they'll tell you everything's unsafe. I don't know what it is. Maybe I'm the only one who sees it, but it's becoming. When the Canadians started saying, "Oh, don't come to Toronto. They're going to shoot you in Toronto," I was like, "Okay, we got to work on this. This is ridiculous." You ask a Jamaican about Jamaica, they'll tell you you'll die. You ask somebody from Detroit about Detroit, they'll tell you you'll die. You ask a Nigerian about Nigeria, they'll tell you you'll die. You'll get kidnapped. So it's just this thing we do. But I don't. The north is other than like okay, like so if you travel by plane, which you should do when you go to the north, right? If you travel by plane, it's safer than the south because it's like super low crime, very chill society, really accommodating, that kind of thing. Not that the south is not accommodating, but the south is just more energetic. I don't know what the word is for it, right? So the north is very safe, even after NSARS. But if you ask people, they'll tell you don't go there because they just out of ignorance, right? It has a bad reputation because Boko Haram, right? Things like that. But Boko Haram is like one. If you go to Sambisa Forest, that's on you. but they don't. I don't think people in the South of Nigeria understand how big the North is. So something like for America now, like if Boko Haram is happening, it'd be like if there's a problem in Seattle and someone tells you don't go to Florida. Like, I heard there's a problem in America, right? And it's like it's not the same thing. So, but yeah, no, the North is incredible. It's very beautiful. I've never heard of somebody going there and not loving it. So it is poorer. It is not. It's more impoverished than the South. But it's a lot of really cool history. If you're a history person, that's a really cool place to go. Ndị ugwu si ma Obama na-enye ha aha ọjọọ. She just said so that outside people are now saying it's Obama that gave them this bad name. So yeah, no, Nigerians are very mad at Barack Obama right now. Obama was wilding in Africa, man. Gee, God damn. Obama tore that place up, man. Damn. Oh my God. Obama tore that place up, man. Shit. Libya, Mali. Heard he bombed Somalia like 50 times. Uganda. Just and then he'll just land there and start telling everybody that they need to they don't know what they're doing, and then he'll leave. He doesn't ever engage in any meaningful way, you know. Yo, Obama tore Africa the fuck up, man. God damn. If you see Africans supporting Trump, just know that they got a different perspective. So matter side Africa. Wait, what? We aren't included no matter which side in the office, so our African hands are clean. Only to find out that the town that they were taken is well furnished, equipped, functional town. Okay, hold on. Angel the Babe, I'm trying to catch what you're saying. Okay, I missed something funny. Everybody's laughing at something. I missed something funny. Hold on. What did I just miss? All right, whatever. Okay, so we're skipping that. Are you Duke Dennis twin? Who the hell is Duke Dennis? I've never seen a celebrity that looks like me, so I don't know who Duke Dennis is, but only to find out the town they were taking well furnished equipped. I still have the Coney 2012 post. Look at me supporting the day. I slept outside for Coney 2012. No, mine was Coney probably like 2020, 2000 maybe 5 or 6. Oh my God. Yeah, he's just the feds. He's just the. But again, they'll get you all. We gotta save the Africans. We gotta save the Africans. Then you get your energy up, and they just go do what they're doing. And while they're doing it, you're cheering. Yeah, yeah. One of the things I began questioning is the fact that every group of people on planet Earth believes that their government is corrupt, inept, and not on their side, except Westerners. Every single person in the world believes that their government is corrupt, inept, and not on their side, except Westerners, right? Now, if you ask a Westerner, is your government corrupt? Yes, but if you say, are they as corrupt as insert any non Western country, the answer is no, right? The answer is no. When really it's the same. It's the same. It's the exact same. There's this book, No Longer at Ease. It's Chinua Achebe. Yeah. I've had this book for a long time, so it's like all torn up. No Longer at Ease, Chinua Achebe, right? And this book is like, it takes place, it's not about this, but it takes place in like the last days of colonialism when the British were leaving, right? And one of the things that keep recurring is this idea that if we hand this over to the Africans, they're so corrupt. If we hand this over to the Africans, they're so corrupt. They're going to be raids or so corrupt, that kind of thing. And it's like, you're literally here stealing people's money. You're specifically the British, you as a fact, you're specifically here to steal. but you don't want to hand over to someone because you think they're going to be corrupt. And the general idea is you're not the corrupt one, this person's the corrupt one, right? So this thing we're calling corruption, maybe that's just how government works. Maybe that's how power works. Maybe that's just power. You understand? But for some reason, when you do it, it's okay, and these ones do it's not okay, right? So like, look at this Elon Musk shit. That's a godfather. In Nigeria, they call that godfatherism. That a person puts his money on a candidate, then he wins, and he goes in there, and he's basically the one who's in charge and does whatever the hell he wants to do, and that kind of thing. Or he tells you who to appoint, and this and this and that, and you siphon money over to him, and so forth. It's the exact same thing. It's the exact same thing. But somebody can see both of those, and then it's just the African that's actually corrupt. You know, it's like, yeah, we'll give it lip service, the Western one corrupt, but really, it's the same thing. It's the same thing. They just figured out they had ghost. Nigerians will know what I'm talking about. They had what do they call them? Ghost pensioners on the U.S. payroll. They just figured this out, right? Anybody could assume. Why wouldn't they, right? But you wouldn't assume because you're not programmed to assume, right? So everybody, every single person in the world thinks that their government is inept, corrupt, and not on their side. So that when the West intervenes, you cheer. Yeah, 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 yeah. When they started doing that little bring back our girls thing, and then the Nigerian government was like, hey guys, this isn't real. Everybody's like, ah, shut up, you're corrupt, you're corrupt, you're corrupt, you're corrupt. CNN said it's real. CNN said it's real. Why would CNN lie? Here's my example. If news comes out from North Korean state media, they will say this is North Korean state media. But that same person will check BBC, which is British state media. 100% has never hidden it. I think they sold it in like 20 between 2012 and 2015. I think they sold it to the private, whatever, but it's the same fucking shit, right? That kind of thing, you know? It's North Korean state media, but BBC is a credible news source. And they'll say, well, they don't have freedom of press. The government controls the media over there. The government has a propaganda piece over there. Like, so it's this weird thing. It's this weird thing where every country is doing the exact same thing, but one has permission and one doesn't. And the other one gets called inept, corrupt, not on their citizens' side. And these ones, which if you ask the citizens that live there, they'll tell you these motherfuckers are not on our side, right? But if you say, are they as on your side as like Saddam Hussein? Oh, no, it's not the same thing. The same thing, right? So, I don't know. Ibrahim is a Fed. Yeah, Ibrahim's the feds. Ibrahim is the feds. Yeah, Ibrahim Traore is the goddamn feds. If it, okay, this is the Traore thing, right? If he's doing what Robert Mugabe was also accused of doing, and Muammar Gaddafi was also accused of doing, why is his press good and their press bad? Why is his press universally good and their press bad? It's kind of weird, right? But if you look it up, Senator Matt Gaetz, he's a Republican, it's spelled Gaetz. If you just type in Matt Gaetz, Burkina Faso, and try to find the full interview, they've been chopping it up into pieces. I think The Economist has the full interview. And he's asking a military general, there has been a string of coups in the Sahel, and we trained every single one of these guys. Can we assure that they're going to deliver for us? And the general's like, this is classified information or something like that. Like, I cannot disclose any further. And he's like, okay, I heard that the Niger guy, he's trading with Russia. He gets the one in Niger gets bad press, right? He gets bad press. And the rest of them don't. It's like, you guys think that there was an organic string of coups in countries that touch each other by border, right? An organic string of just pop, 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 all in like 1 year, all in like maybe 2 years, in all the places that have rare earth minerals. Congo being the next one that has the rare earth minerals. Northern Nigeria, Congo, Sahel, rare earth minerals. The minerals necessary, what the U.S. needs right now. The reason it's talking about Greenland is They have figured out how to make missiles that move faster than the speed of computation. Okay? They've figured out how to make missiles. China, everybody has figured out you can now make missiles that move faster than the speed of computation, meaning that a computer can't detect you because you're moving so fast. Because you're moving faster than the speed of computation, all of the missile defense systems in the world are now obsolete, right? All of the missile defense systems in the world, the early warning systems in the world, they're all obsolete. But the issue with the missiles that move faster than the speed of computation is that a missile will lose its structural integrity in the sky. Let me not use too many words. If a missile's flying that fast, the friction from the air is going to erode it and scratch it up, and it's going to explode. It's not going to work. Okay. So what they figured out that if there are certain metals that you can use that can handle that speed. One of them is tungsten, Tungsten. Now, the problem with tungsten is that the number one holder of tungsten in the world is North Korea. After North Korea, it's Congo and China. Okay? And so, seeing some freaky activity in Congo, right? And then, of course, China's got all the stuff, but then they've got a little bit in Greenland. There's a little bit in Canada. Listen to all the stuff Trump is saying. He's not playing. He's not joking. And there's a little bit in Ukraine, right? And that kind of thing. Those are little bits, but the big ones are in North Korea and China, and then Congo, right? And they're now suspecting, because they found some in northern Nigeria, it might be in the Sahel. And once the suspicion, whatever, coup. You understand? And then the niggas that did the and did the coup, like, just the young, handsome guys, right? And like, this isn't gonna make sense to everybody, but like, look, I'm from Africa. I lived in Africa, but like, that's not who you pick to be the leader in this culture, right? Of course, yeah, it's a different culture, and not that different, but that's weird. This looks like a movie star. This is some movie star shit, right? But that's the one thing. And then I look at how the cameras are angled, right? Always angled up, like it's always like up. I'm like, this is American style. I remember when the first Trump election was happening, and I was being bombarded with like Russian propaganda because, like, I'm kind of out there, right? And I noticed that the Russians, whenever they would do their propaganda, the person would always be like this, perfectly symmetrical to the screen. And I almost wanted to email Putin, right? If I had his email, I'd be like, Americans find this off-putting. Angle yourself to the side a little bit, right? It's too direct. Like, pow, pow, pow. And it'd always be an attractive woman, who has some type of like toughness to her. Maybe she does martial arts, maybe she's from the military, but she's attractive, she's well composed, and then she has this like Renaissance woman kind of range of interest. So like she's a classical pianist, she's a this, she's that, and then they'd be telling you, and they'd be like trying to like tell you some shit that's like, okay, I see what you're trying to do. This is funny. I'm not the one, but I can see why you think I'd be the one, right? That kind of thing. And I remember because I have a website when Trump ended up winning, there was like a whole bunch of people got these like spam kind of things in your SEO that said Trump wins, Putin rules, or some shit like that. Like I was like, oh, this is funny. But anyways, yeah, that's a whole different thing. But American propaganda, right? You can't beat it. You can't beat it. I read Hitler's book, Mein Kampf. There's a part where he's talking about like Germany lost the war because it can't do propaganda like England and the United States. Now we need to learn how to do propaganda like we're stupid. We don't know how to do propaganda, that kind of thing. And I was like, yeah, it is true. America can like really just convince you of anything. America can be the most hyper violent society on planet Earth, and every single American before they leave America will ask you, the place, is it safe? The place they're going, is it safe? Is it gonna be safe? Right? Or my wife brought that up, and I was like, yeah, they want to know if it's safe. It's like, no, that doesn't make any sense. I was like, wow, that doesn't make any sense. Like, who's trying to kill you? Who's trying to kill you? If anything, the place you're in right now, that's, like statistically, that kind of thing. But they've just convinced everybody it's the other way around. It's the other way around. Anyways, yeah, I'm ranting, I'm rambling. He was trained in special ops just like the dude in the Black Panther flicks. Are we talking about Traore? Yeah, that fool was trained in Georgia. Empire is like a drug. Yes, 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 yes. Empire is like a drug. No empire lasts. The cultures that last don't pursue it. This exposes why I voted for Trump. Plus, I've shown ways. As long as life, Democrat by mental health, disappearance, blanking enraged me. Yeah, expose them. Happened to me too. Flying police. I just spoke in accent, gave him money. Yeah, flying police. Yeah, 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 yeah. There was they tried to do flying police in my village, and my uncle Magan's thugged out, but he's an old man now. My uncle Magan was in his car, and a flying police jumped in his vehicle, and he's like, "No, this is the wrong one." And so my uncle Magan held him down like this, and drove him back to our village. And they took him out and they beat the hell out of this guy. They just beat this guy, beat this guy, beat this guy. And then they kept him prisoner. And then the police chief came and scolded him because they're not supposed to do flying police. It's illegal. But yeah, no. Anyways, sometimes I try not to tell these village stories because without context, they sound insane. But yeah, Lagos sounds like NYC. Yeah, it's like if NYC, maybe Atlanta, maybe LA. I've never been to LA, but I would imagine similar if all of them just kind of turned into the same thing. And then plus all the extra being Nigerian, it's a whole different thing in its own. But yeah, it's you gotta have crawfish to bribe a cop on the road. That's funny. I don't want another NYC at home. Yes. What is Port Harcourt like? What is Port Harcourt like? I've never been. I don't know too much about it. I would imagine it's nice. I would imagine it's like Lagos, but a little more chill, right? I would imagine it's Lagos, but a little more chill. But I don't know too much about it. Um, I feel like PH has kind of lost its thunder. It used to be considered like the second city, but it's not really. Nobody's really talking about them anymore. Anybody who's been to PH, let her know. And we call it Potacots. I remember when I told my sister, this place is actually called Port Harcourt. And she's like, don't ever say that shit again. It sounds so nasty. Okay, I'm urbanized, so I'm not sure I can go fully rural yet, but I don't want another NYC either. Igbo villages are not rural, like just small towns. They're not like really rural. You understand? Go to like it's OU Travels, a YouTube channel, and then just look. He does like little drone shots of all the villages, and they look like towns, but they're villages. They're what we call villages. They're what we call rural. But we have this like population density that makes it everywhere just a town, right? So it's not super rural like that. Now, if you go to the north, or if you go to like a Yoruba village, then yeah, it's a different whatever. But in the east, the villages aren't super rural like that. It's just you get a little, you can see chickens walk around and shit, but it's not like too far out there, right? That kind of thing. Okay, what are your thoughts about the generation? What are your thoughts about the generation that's going on right now? Like, are you talking about like Gen Z and stuff? I don't know. People are pessimistic about young people, but I'm very optimistic. I know my kids. I know their friends. They're great, 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 great kids. I think millennials did a good ass job being parents. I think we all did. We all need to pat ourselves in the damn back. Millennials did a good ass job being parents. Good job. There's this girl who I grew up with her, and you would never guess how she grew up by how well she did with her kids. Like what all her generational trauma, she just shut the door on it and gave them a life that has nothing to do with how she grew up, right? And you see that a lot. And so I'm really optimistic. They seem well rounded, well behaved, well mannered. People will tell you, oh, this new generation, bro, this is bullshit. You know, it's bullshit. All of the negative indices, right? All things we can consider negative indices, they're all down. They're all at an all time low, right? These kids aren't really shooting each other the way we were. They're not huffing paint the way we were. They're not. I grew up in the rural Midwest. Like I've seen some things, you know, and a lot of that stuff is phasing out. So no, this next generation is really awesome. So I remember I was doing this thing where it was like trying to help kids, the youth and stuff, and it was like these like kids that were very good in school or very good at school, and we were taking them to like a marine thing to go look at like the different jobs and like the marine sciences. And I remember asking, there were seniors. I remember I was asking a lot of them, like, "Are you guys gonna go to college?" And like everybody was like, I think I'm gonna take some years off, or I'm gonna take a year off, and I'll check, I'll see, and that kind of thing. And I just remember how uncommon that was uncommon for us because we always just felt like you just had to just go to college. But they're like, "No, I'm gonna stop and think about what I want to do and all this stuff." And to me, it showed that they probably grew up with their thoughts being respected, and they probably grew up with um, a decent level of personal autonomy, right? So yeah, I think millennials did a good ass job being parents. I hope it continues. I'd like to RV from Senegal to Cameroon. Oh, that'd be crazy. Some white guy drove from UK through West Africa, around the Cape, and out in Russia. Yeah, I've been seeing those people. I think she's a Nigerian lady that's like riding a motorcycle from like to every country in Africa, and things like that. So yeah, no, that'd be cool. That'd be cool. Avoid Mauritania and you'll be fine. Crime rate is the same in my opinion. We only hear about the South because the population is in the South. Okay, Ray X, you're saying the crime is the same. Okay, I didn't know that. I was always told that there's less crime in the North. Yeah, I was always told that there's less, that it's safer. It's generally safer, but maybe that's old news. Maybe that's the past. My dad lived in Kano. My dad lived in Kano. Um, when he was in his 20s for a little bit. He got a job at the Kano airport as like one of the people that like helped the planes land or whatever. And then they wanted him to work at the Emir's palace because he spoke English. But then he got that chance to come to America and he came to America instead. So I may have grew up in the North if that didn't happen. Um, but and this was the 80s, so maybe it's different now, but he was saying that it was super safe. That's just very chill. I got married and joined my husband. Brookston. Okay, hold on. It was hilarious to be back home after my trip. CB was shock. I'm like, clearly I survived. Yeah, it's just bad press. Anywhere that we are has bad press. I had a red bracelet. Okay, I don't know what that's about. Jersey. Okay. Voting for Trump is zero flex. Yeah. Shush. Vote for whomever you want. It's your choice. Is there any hope for Africa? Of course, there's hope for Africa. Of course, Africa is the fastest developing continent in the world. Population growth, world, everything's on the up and up. So of course there is. Yeah, of course. So they realized they had vibranium. Yeah, it's really some vibranium. Yeah. Your nose is a ski jump. Arabachegete, Ekwensu Bawu Gianofia. Jesus loves you all, your father. What are you communicating? Topic. Siberia. Hey, you're gonna have to check the replay. I already talked about it in the beginning. Them, The Burkinabe people were ready for a strong military man to fill Sankara's boots. And they got it. You know? Bob Marley loves you more. But he kicked France out of the country, and I've never seen them building him up. France France proved that it can't enforce its presence in West Africa. And because France can't enforce its presence in West Africa, the big dogs are moving in, which is the United States. Okay. And what else? Yeah, at the end of the day, it's really about companies. So we say France, we start thinking it's about the government. It's about companies. Anything in the West is really about companies. These companies operate internationally, right? And they almost contract governments to protect their interests in those countries. Okay? They like so the French companies are the ones doing all the disagreeable stuff in whatever. And it contracts the French government and the French political apparatus to enforce that, right? Colonialism is done by companies, okay? And then the government comes later, almost as like a security guard, okay? But if I reach out to France, even though I'm French, and so these are multinationals. They're not even like, they don't have countries, right? So if it's like, I don't know, whatever. And okay, this is the French zone of influence. They bring the French in. The French prove that they can't actually protect me. Then I'll go get the U.S. The U.S. Yeah, let me go get the big dogs. Bring the U.S. come do it. And the U.S. isn't gonna come in stupid like France. France is stupid. France is it's a dumb. It's stupid, right? Everybody. Why is everybody knew how predatory and ridiculous the relationship France and Africa have with each other? It was well known. Why? Does that sound like a competent operator? Does it sound like a competent thief? If a person just does armed robberies and everybody in the neighborhood knows exactly which houses you like to rob, exactly how you like to rob, then you're not good at the thing, right? They're not good at the thing. But America will show up as the police. America will show up as the police. He'll be like, he'll call the police and he'll be like, you know, yeah, I just came back. My TV's missing. Okay, wow. Okay, all right. Step aside, ma'am. Let me go here and look there. And you go in there and your goddamn carpet's missing, right? And the police come there. They took your carpet too. They took your carpet too, you know? And you go to the police station, like, hey, I think the police officer took my. They arrest your ass. We found drugs under your carpet. Hey, tell everybody you do drugs, you do drugs, you do drugs. This person does drugs, you know? Yeah, so you come out, you try to tell people, like, yeah, no, it's the drugs again. There they go talking, there's the drugs again, right? See how many dimensions the robbery had, right? And if somebody comes out and goes, I don't think this person was on drugs. I think the person posed as a police officer, stole their carpet, and put drugs there. That's a conspiracy theory. Here you go with your conspiracy, that kind of thing. Anyway, but France is stupid ass. Yeah, you know exactly where they do their stuff, right? Where does the Netherlands do bullshit at? You don't know, because they're not stupid. France is stupid, you know. So yeah, the the big dogs are in now, right? The competent actor, which is a big part of the issue the United States is trying to have with Europe right now, is that we're all robbing the world, right? We're all robbing and stealing, but I always have to be the security. I have to be the muscle all the time when we're robbing and stealing. And if I'm going to be the muscle, you guys need to pay up. That's the big philosophy they're trying to push right now. It's stupid. It's not going to go anywhere. It's idiotic. You know what I mean? That's not how it works. It's not going to go anywhere. But the current government is idiotic, right? And so they're coming with this idiotic way of thinking. And the idiotic way of thinking is giving everybody kind of an insight. Oh, that's what's going on. I didn't know that, right? But if you look at it, it's kind of obvious. You understand, right? Always talking about we do so much for this one. They never pay. We do that. Well, what do you do for them? What do you do for them, right? Recently, they had what's that situation with Israel? where Iran started hitting them, and it turns out that this famous Iron Dome, which is a bunch of U.S. ships parked outside of Israel, that were going to shoot the missiles out of the sky for Israel. That Israel don't really got shit, you know. Yeah, yeah. Everybody knows what it is. Everybody knows what it is. It's all a psyop, but like the man who stares at goats. I need to watch that movie. Not a lot of countries where you can legally buy firearms. The plot thickens. We agreed to just say no to bad wigs and sympathizers of vile white racists. I agree. I have no desire to visit South Africa. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I don't. I don't know what I don't get it. I wouldn't unless you just like if you're going to South Africa to like connect with your like African heritage, I think is a misfire. But a lot of people do it. So big misfire. Mhm. Have you read The Alchemist? Points of Very Ordinal I like worldview. I've never read The Alchemist. I'd be interested in reading it though. I've got such a long ass to do list with my reading. Um, a lot of those books need to be finished, right? If they're up here, then I've either read them or I'm in the process of reading them, right? Or like this one, I haven't read it, but I used it for school and it takes up space, so I used it, that kind of thing. They beat Shege Banzai. I don't know what Shege Banzai is, Uche. Can you let me know? Uche Campos. I feel like I haven't seen that name in a while. What is the best way to go from Lagos to Accra? Fly. The best way to go from Lagos to Accra is to fly. Fly Air Peace, an Igbo airline. I love the way Nigerians say Port Harcourt too. Yeah, if you tell them it's Port Harcourt, they'll just be like, "What?" But yeah, no, it's a nasty name. It's Port Harcourt. Port Harcourt. The guy is named after Lewis Harcourt is a child diddler, right? He's a child diddler, so that's another thing too. Have you heard about the is a colonialist? Have you heard about the inventor in Zimbabwe who invented the yeah, yeah, I recently saw that, the energy free car. I saw that and then I saw like I need to look into that story, but he was saying that someone tried to poison him or something. But yeah, I saw that there was a guy who developed an energy free car in Zimbabwe. Yeah, I did see that. Potakot is nice. It'll have some tourist places they don't know how to toot their own horn. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I can see that. Port Harcourt. Potakot. Yo, I heard about. Oops, what am I doing? Where are we at? Where are we at? Where are we at? Do you think AI is the solution? Without I would want to know the solution to what specifically. But AI is very helpful. I use it a lot in my like day-to-day tasks and stuff, organizing data and stuff like that. And, but yeah, no. Recently, someone sent me an email and I couldn't gauge it, so I asked AI to analyze it for dishonesty, and it gave a very good breakdown. So it's useful. Whoever wants this, it's a tool. If you use it to go left, it'll take you left. You use it to go right, you'll go right. I think it's overrated though. All this like AI is the future. That's just like gold rush marketing. They're just trying to get their stocks up. Do you think the next generation is more inclined towards Odinani? Are they content to remain Christian slash Muslim? In Nigeria, everybody's turning back to spirituality. In Nigeria, everybody's turning back to spirit. The wave of young people is moving towards spirituality. But of course, the governments and the church are now fighting against this. So recently in Anambra State, they passed a bill where if you are seen like praying by a river, you can be arrested. If you are a DBA and you're not registered with the government, you can be arrested. But if you register with the government, they'll arrest your ass too. So they have started persecuting DBAs in officially in Anambra State, in Abia State. So the teacher for our traditional medicine class was actually beaten by the police um, at a point, and it inspired me to want to, or I'm in the process of starting like a defense fund for traditional practitioners. It's like a lawyer that's kind of willing to represent them for free and that kind of thing. Because yeah, now they've gone from just using their mouth, like the Christians, they've gone from using just their words to try to condemn to like now physical attacks because young people aren't going to church anymore. They're all of the traditional stuff is back. I went to Igbo Fest and like they had Dr. Rume after God is Dibia. They had him break Haji for the whole thing. It was like I did not expect any of that at all. I was very impressed. I was very impressed. Right? I was very impressed. Yeah, people aren't taking it anymore. People are asking questions. People are returning to what's real to them and what works and so forth. A lot of families are healing from religious trauma that was caused from their little era of being like. There's a lot of what I'm seeing happen a lot at home. A lot of families are like rebuilding the shrines and stuff that they destroyed because they're realizing that it's that act of destruction has been causing them problems and that kind of thing. And it's just, yeah, everybody's turning the other way around. But right now in Anambra State, there's a very, very serious situation where the government is actively, this absolute bastard of a human being, Soludo, the government, which is funny because his name means fear Udo, fear Amadioha, fear karma, fear consequence, right? So we'll keep an eye on him. We'll see what happens to him 4 years after he's governor, right? But he's on a rampage right now. His whole thing is he just wants to attack Odinani people and he wants to attack IPOB people. And nobody can identify what his MO is. I think he's trying to show the rest of the country that he's like anti Igbo so that they can make him the Igbo president and vote for him. But that's stupid. He's not going anywhere. But we'll see where it goes. It's unfortunate, but that's we've been working on getting like a group together that can defend people at least on a legal level, defend people, defend Arashi, defend sacred sites, artifacts, things like that, on a legal level, so a bit more. Good question. AI is super dangerous and bad for the environment, just lead to more sophisticated ways of control, maybe. Um, it's a tool. It's going to go one way or another. I think eventually we're going to figure out a better way to do computing that doesn't use like energy the way we use it because our brain is doing a lot of computing with a minimal like the if yeah they're gonna start. All right, so here's my conspiracy theory. I think them little stupid chips that Elon Musk wants to put in people's brain, I don't think the objective is to merge or to put a computer in your head. It's the dumbest thing I've heard in my life. But I think the natural infrastructure of the human body and the human brain is a great conduit for computation. And I think it's like the human is the battery for the computer. I don't think the computer is the battery for the unless you're gonna be charging a motherfucker, right? I don't. Okay. And then from there, you now don't have to do this big ass Amazon data warehousing and all this super environment destroying things, expensive things, right? They're not doing it because the environment, they're doing it because of cost. So that's my conspiracy theory. But nobody's gonna get a dumbass chip in their brain on purpose. So unless you're just that much of a goofball. Mm-mm-mm. AI company released a document telling prospective hires that they are forbidden to use AI to write resumes and to bypass applicant. That's funny. The Alchemist follows a guy who comes to learn that everyone on Earth to realize a personal legend from the hand that wrote it all. That's really profound. I would love to check it out. I don't even want to say it's on my to do list because the amount of things I need to read or I've been trying to chip away at is brutal. So in the next lifetime, I'll definitely read The Alchemist. I lived in PH for 10 years. Juana, can you tell us how it was? I don't know too much about PH. PH used to be fun. Went to college there, and my best friends are all from PH. Then kidnapping started when it went south. PH is no more what it used to be. Oh wow, yeah, I know that cultism is big there. Cultism for the American people, that's gangs, right? Um, yeah, okay. I didn't know that. If my great grandfather died young, but had he not died young, we probably would have grown up there because he was doing business in Bonny Island and Opobo, and he died of mysterious causes. But he was setting up for us to all live there as a family. So military units are also called companies. Well, there you go. Well, there you go. Okay, Matrari is doing well. AES is working with Russia as global hegemony. They kicked the U.S. out too. Rex, Rex. Hey, I'm coming, guys. All right, kicked out the U.S. Hey, isn't he wearing U.S. military fatigue? Like this shit's so ridiculous. Total Cargill Nestle. Yeah, you got it. You know it. Total Cargill Nestle. Lockheed. Ike Gurunam. Itaya. Lord have mercy. Power is a scam. That's a profound statement. And what that do with all? Do you want to elaborate on this concept of power is a scam? Because I think that's what the U.S. government's also realizing too right now. I think that they're in his face where it's like, wait, hold on, they can't afford, we can't afford all the stuff that's going on that we're doing, but we're tied in all these different places and that kind of thing, and doing all this BS, and we have to keep pumping lives and money and everything possible, right? Oh, karmic debt into keeping up this BS power that nobody gets anything from, right? Like, well, okay, the US dollar is the world's reserve currency. What does that actually do? What does it actually do? It makes it easy for us to go buy stuff elsewhere. Okay, so let's go buy stuff elsewhere. Oh, they're not buying anything domestic. American made products are too expensive. Yeah. Okay, they go build it in China. Now nobody's got jobs. You know, what's the worth? No, I don't know Shege Banza. It sounds like some Hausa. It sounds like something else. I don't know what Shege Banza is. Did my question get answered above? I must have missed it. If you can ask again, I appreciate it. I agree with that solution 500. I think we're back on polygamy. Are you still offering the traditional medicine classes? Yeah, we're actually just about to start or this week we're starting to sign up. The next class is in March. It was supposed to be at February, but I postponed it to March. So it's going to be at the end of March, the last week of March, we start. If you're interested, sign up at www.kedu.me. The traditional medicine class fills up super fast. The first one we had, I ignored the class limit and I let like over 20 some people sign up. And I had never had a headache like that in my life. So So I'm very tight on the limit now. 12. We're keeping 12 per class. If you're interested, sign up at kedu.me. That class fills up really fast. So um, if you're interested, I'd sign up within at least by the end of the month. So, but thanks for asking. Unless you're, are you, if you're Izumi, I can't talk, my throat's really dry. If you're Izumi tier on Patreon, um, just message me and say, I want to be in that class, and then I'll put you in. Right. That Izumi tier is one of the reasons it fills up so fast, by the way. So if you guys are interested, get in there, get in. There are also aspects as well, new aid for couples, communal involvement in marriage. Okay. All right. Can you explain the relationship between? Oh, Deanna, thank you for this question. Can you explain the relationship between Agun and Chi? This is a really good question. So, Agun does the will of Chi. Agun does the will of Chi. Um, Everybody is a composite of four essences: your Chi, Eke, Agun, and Mo. Okay. When you pass away, they all go their four separate places. They go their four separate directions. But your agon, I think it was the third one I always list, your agon starts the process of returning back into the world again. And the reason your agon returns back into the world is because your agon your agon moves with your purpose. Your agon moves with your purpose. But your purpose supersedes your lifetime. Your purpose transcends your lifetime. Your purpose existed before you. So there's somebody who your purpose and their purpose were linked. And that person passed, and that Agun began the reincarnation process and came back into the world as you. Then you pass, and it will come into the world as the next person, right? And so that purpose comes from your chi. That purpose comes from your chi. Okay. So Agun gets called, I'll use about four different names, right? One is, of course, Agun, 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 right? Agun, gun, to calculate, the calculator, the consciousness. The word Agun, if you break it down, Diana, you're in Asasuibo, right? So maybe we'll get to the point where we're breaking down this word. But Agun, gun, to count, to calculate, to deliberately analyze, right? The consciousness, right? Agon is the holder of the universal mind, the consciousness. It is Agon is like the receiver that allows you to tap into your chi. Okay, so your Agon, that's one name. Another name is your Onyilo, Onye Ilo, Ilo, right? Again, you're in Kedu. I don't know if you've learned already, but Lo means to return. To return. Lo is return. So Elo, the person that, or Elo returning, right? You're a returning person. Onyilo, right? Your Onyilo, under that name is what I described. That's the person that returned from the past life. Okay. So when you're at home, you know, they will within, if like you have like a village, people will tend to know who you reincarnated from, and sometimes they'll call you that person's name. They'll treat you like that person, right? You might just be sitting there, and then an old woman from a few streets down will come and start cooking food for you just because you used to be her husband, that kind of thing. My past life son, was at my wedding. He followed me everywhere. He's like my little buddy, even though he's like 75 minimum, you know. But yeah, Onyilo, and what's the other one? Onyowa, your worldly person, right? And then Chihuahua, your worldly chi, your Chihuahua. I don't use the term Chihuahua because I don't want to confuse people because Chihuahua and Chi are different. Okay, so your chi, in that process of returning, your chi will reaffirm the purpose, will reaffirm that purpose, reaffirm that essence, reaffirm that sometimes I don't like using the word purpose because it almost feels like you're coming to do a specific job, right? And that's not really what it is, right? It's like an essence, right? Like the way you look is part of your purpose. This thing you actualize, this thing you're coming to actualize. Your your chi affirms that. Your chi goes, all right, let's go. And then with your chi, your onyu walk. or your agon comes into the world. So yeah, that's what it is. But your chi is your source, your creator, your spark. It is the thing that is actualizing itself into the world as you. Okay. I in my chi explained video, I asked like a question. I was like, okay, if somebody's writing a book, what is the chi of the book, right? And so some people said like the author, some people said like the thought to write the book. Um, some people said, which was a really interesting one, whatever inspired the thought to write the book, right? So it's hard to define the chi, but it's the source, it's the thing that it's coming from, right? And your aghon is your link between you and your chi, right? Aghon has 1 foot in mado, 1 foot in mo, 1 foot in spirit, 1 foot in person. Um, Aghon is the link. So the Aghon is like a rope that, like an umbilical cord that links you to your chi. Oh, damn. So thank you for that. Deanna Smith, that was a really good question. Yeah, we're talking too much politics. Let's get back to the damn. Let's get back to what we came here for. Okay. All right, so where are we at? Yo, that man in the car runs free energy is amazing. Some say it's a hoax, but I don't think it is. I think it's legit. It sounds frequency to produce electricity. It's sound frequency to produce electricity. That's really, yeah. I got like a recommendation to see one of his video, like a video about him, like 3 days ago. So this must have happened just really recently. And what little I saw, it was really about like him saying that he felt like somebody was trying to poison him at a point. But I didn't look into that, so it's really cool. So no, a lot of really cool stuff is being built in Africa. Like, this is the thing, right? Like, there's a deliberate effort to make sure you don't believe anything good is happening in Africa. And one of the benefits of this effort is that if I, person creating this propaganda, go do some bullshit in Africa, you will feel like, well, that's just what happens there. And there's no indignation about it. Okay. But there is incredible stuff being built in Africa. People are inventing and discovering and doing all types of unbelievable stuff. And it's, if you're in the US, you have been shut off from all of that. You're never going to hear it. Right? A good example is Dangote Refinery. Dangote built a refinery that processes more oil than the combined total of any single European country. One refinery that does this. It doesn't touch the news in the US. You never hear about this. It's the highest capacity refinery, I believe, in the world. If it's not in the world, it's in the top 2 or 3. Nothing. Nothing. You're not going to hear nothing. Ibrahim Traore helps a woman cross the street. Africa. Yes, man. He's saving Africa. He's saving Africa. Let Robert Mugabe help. No, shit about that. Once they got rid of Gaddafi, now we heard that, oh, everybody in Libya got a free house. Oh, I didn't know that. Of course, why would you know that? Why would you know that? Well, who benefits from you knowing that, right? A lot of cool ass shit's being done in Africa, right? Innocent, my brother Innocent, my Igbo brother Innocent, right? He's making cars and selling them, that kind of thing, and tractors and motorcycles and all these things. You're gonna hear about? Oh, you're not gonna hear about it. You're not gonna hear about it. Let Ibrahim Traore make a shoelace. Shit, where's my bell? You know. So yeah. You see the patterns. You know, you see the patterns. You see the patterns. So China has already made better AI than the US one, and it's not as bad for the environment. It just directs questions right to human experts very fast. It shamed NVIDIA. Yeah, I heard about that. I heard about that. Elon is using our chips to buy it. I think that's the dumbass plan that he has as a goofy individual. I think that's his little dumbass plan, right? That's my own little conspiracy theory. I don't think it's it's like, what, okay, you just love the internet so much that you want the internet on your spinal column. Like, I know it's stupid, but you are a perpetual energy machine unless you die, and you are a perpetual computation algorithm. Like, you have framework, right? You have that. You have all these things. So yeah, who's benefiting, the chip or you? Who needs who more? Do you love TikTok so fucking bad you want it in your cerebellum? Like, you know what I mean? Like, no, that's weird, you know. But him obviously not being, uh, in touch with other humans, is gonna propose this goofy ass idea, and hopefully, and I don't know. That's my conspiracy theory. I have nothing to back it up other than the fact that it sounds likely and low key entertaining. So let's see if it happens. Will you do any in-depth videos on fractals and Evo culture? Yeah, yes, I will. So, by the way, guys, my laptop broke. I haven't been able to release a video in a while, in like 2 weeks. My laptop broke. It's being fixed right now. Once it's done being fixed, I'll start making more videos. But I'm looking for a new way to do my videos that would be quicker, right? That would be quicker because the videos I make, it's like a damn college dissertation, and it doesn't need to be like that. But I don't, but I love doing it. So that's the actual issue is I like doing it too much, right? I like doing it too much. You understand? Um, yeah. So I don't know. Anybody that does like a business, don't love it too much. Don't love it too much. Because if you love it too much, you're gonna be too sentimental. You're not gonna be practical. Okay? I'm sentimental with my videos. So I figured out practical ways to do it, but I'm too sentimental with the way I do it. But I'm gonna grit my teeth and try something new. We've been at it for 4 years now. It's time for innovation. So I was thinking the same thing. Perfect dystopian sci-fi fantasy prompt. Yeah. Fourth wall breakdown in community. 3 is the cause of 2 diminish. Okay. All right. You guys are. I like how you guys kind of mesh with each other too. Derek, is there Onyo Zimiri? Here in the States? Is there? No, I don't. No, I don't know anybody. If there is a Odinani practitioner community in the US, I don't know anybody outside of our this medicine shell gang that we've put together. You know, I don't know anybody outside of this medicine shell gang we've put together. So outside of our that kind of thing. Hi, you're amazing. You matter to this world. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Please know your love. Thank you. I appreciate that. I hope you're doing well. Aiden Reed, I appreciate that. That was really cool. And the same to you too. You got did one day. She can. Hold on, wait. Dr. Kunjufu. Dr. Kunjufu did prove your first point, yes. As nature of money and work changes, so there's relationship and attitude. Gen A and Gen Z are already turning away from social media economy and towards nature. Yeah, there's all these like really healthy attitudes that young people have, um, and that they're like actualizing and living that I don't think we had growing up. We didn't have access to growing up. But I think we did a good job of like helping them start with a clean, like setting that up. A lot of them have millennial parents, and then from there it became possible. You know, but yeah, I and Gen X too, Gen X parents. But yeah, yeah, no, the kids now they're they've just got a different thought process than we had. You know, they got a different thought process than we had. Gen Beta will definitely be communal value farming. Maybe. We'll see. That'll be interesting. teaching them to be rugged and hands-on. It's already happening with their parents to be. Well, one of the things that happens in American culture too is that if one generation goes pushes left, the other one will push right. So who knows? Maybe they'll figure out that all this shit that we think is good is actually bad. And then they'll push to, go back to the shit we grew up with. Right? Like when they figured out like, oh man, like, you know, empathy is some bullshit. I want to huff markers or some shit like that. So who knows? Between me and my friends, we blame the institution of marriage itself. Nobody is completely monogamous throughout life. It's a social construct used to claim ownership. Well, damn. Well, damn. Can they? I don't know what we're asking. What inspired the name the Medicine Shell? Wandering Atticus. Thanks for asking that. Okay, so um, the Medicine Shell. So one of the things in Odinani is this is divination. The divination using the Afa, the Ugili beads, the Afa, right? And one of the things about Afa is that, or in Odinani, that it said that the Afa that comes from the tortoise shell, the Afa that comes from within the tortoise shell is the most accurate. So you'll see sometimes some deviants will keep their Afa beads inside of a tortoise shell. And that's where I got the name. So the shell is reference to the tortoise shell. The tortoise shell also alludes to the mind in Odinani. It alludes to the mind. It alludes to the Abba Uche, which is like your basket of wisdom. So the idea of the mind that the ancestors have is that it's a reciprocal and it receives from beyond. It receives things from beyond. Think about like a bird's nest. Think about like a bird's nest is there, and then like a bird will come fly and sit on it, right? A bird is uche, is wisdom, right? And it sits there and maybe leaves you an egg and goes away, that kind of thing, right? And that nest is the same thing as the tortoise shell, is the same thing as the human mind. So the medicine shell comes from that, the Afa Hababala, that comes from the tortoise shell. So that's where I got the name from. I tried to, like, when I was putting everything together, I tried to let everything just kind of develop itself. So I never really sat and thought, like, what should the name be? It just kind of like, I remember I was reading about that and I was like, there's medicine shell. I don't know. It just kind of popped in there. But it was as I was reading about it. And I was like, okay. Free energy tech is like spiritual technology. I think that's the direction they're moving. I think human beings are like everything you need for using humans, integrating technology with nature, because nature has all of these things that we're trying to artificially build, and nature has more efficient and effective ways of making these things happen. You understand, right? And so why not just use what's already there and link it with the thing? But being that they're like, evil and from the cave, they're gonna make it weird. It's not gonna be like, oh, we're gonna merge with nature. It's gonna be, we're going to subdue biology and nature towards helping people buy shit on Amazon. So my own conspiracy theory may be real, may not be real. Bookman. Damn, that's two heavy names right there. Hello, greetings, 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 one day, greetings. Dangote recently visited Guyana, Suriname, who have recently found oil. Trinidad under the U.S. advised foolishly shut down our refineries years ago. You see that bullshit? That's what they do. That's what they do. Dangote refinery is the biggest in the world. Yes, yes, yes. I just wanted to make sure. I thought it was like top three at least, but I believe yes, it's the biggest in the world. Like no, like it produces more because there was Africa needs to refine its own resources. It produces more oil than any single European country's combined total can do. He can build another one of those, and another one, and another one. So there's a lot of really cool shit happening in Africa right now, right? There's a lot of really cool stuff, but you're not gonna hear about the actual good You're gonna hear about what you need to hear about, right? They're gonna make heroes for you to hear about, and it'll be framed like the way you've been conditioned to accept the framing of a hero. That's what it's all about. I just visited Africa, a different country. Again, nothing but white foreigners laying out on the beach with titties on. Ay, ay, ay. Luxury hotels everywhere went living their best life. Africa. Dangote is looking for clients to refine oil for. So he went to the two countries, and Senegal recently started refining oil this week too. That's good. When we visited Benin, we saw some Nigerian made mini cars. They look like a combination of cars and bicycles. Very affordable. Oh, yeah, yeah. Maybe Keke Napep. Maybe Keke Napep. Yeah. So they make those. They used to import them from India, and I'm sure a great deal is still imported from India. But I know they now make them in Abia State and Anambra. And maybe if they make it in Lagos, I wouldn't be surprised. Right. Nigeria is a question I'm asking to you. Wait, Nigeria is a question, but I think I see it as a chat topic. Okay. Okay. Yeah. We're all brainwashed, no matter how enlightened some may be. This is very true. This is very true. This is very, very true. I'm a biochemist and bioengineering microorganisms are part of what I studied. Penicillin is a product from, I can't say that word, asparagus, if I remember right. LOL. Okay, all right, that's not about me. We live and learn. Okay, cool. Can I buy a tortoise shell on Etsy for my alpha practice? Yeah, why not? Oh my gosh, burp. Sorry, guys. Uh, rubbers. Rubbers. Without rubbers, being mass produced, STI drugs, even for free, social services. This new age free love, like it doesn't work. Oh, man, it can work. Monogamy can work together. Damn. All right. Can you speak on what fear shows up when? Oh, okay. Can you speak on how fear shows up when you're aligned with your purpose from the Odinani perspective? Okay, so this is one of my favorite topics to talk about. Um, is the relationship between an Odinani person and fear. Okay, between an Odinani person and fear. So, if you want to understand anything in Odinani, you'll understand that the littlest thing you can measure is a microcosm of the cosmos. Okay, and there's a way that our ancestors described the relationship with the Abara, how they relate with each other and that kind of thing. And all of those things, if you take those big grand ideas and distill it down to your everyday life, it'll enrich your perspective, right? And so one of those big ideas is the relationship between Ekwensu and Chuku. For those of you who are patrons, check, and you guys want to read more about this, check the Ekwensu folder. I think I have documents in there that talk about this, right? And so the feeling, the Ekwensu, when Ekwensu is present, it comes as a feeling of like fear and heightened everything, like heightened senses, fear, adrenaline, all that stuff. It's like it's the heart pounding, that kind of thing. That's Ekwensu energy. It's scary, right? It is fear, right? Ekwensu is the Abara that is feared by Abara, right? The Abara that's feared by Abara, right? And so the presence of Ekwensu feels like fear. You understand, right? It is said that when a person does a ritual, Ekwensu stands nearby to assure that it's done correctly. Okay. Now, if you go to ancestral mythology, folk tales, things like that, you'll hear cosmological tales. I think is a better term. You'll see this pattern where Chuku will give a command and then will place Ekwensu there to assure that the command is done as commanded. Okay. And so, what does this mean on a personal level, right? Whenever you do those things that matter, whenever you do those things that matter, whenever you do those things that your chi is sending you to go, when you go into the battle that your chi is sending you to go into, right? There's a feeling of fear because that's how your chi operates. Your chi says, "Oh yeah, boom, puts Ekwensu there." Because as Chuku does, so does your chi, right? So your chi puts that feeling of fear and the things that matter, the things that matter, things that are important, to assure that you do it correctly. To assure that you do it correctly. Okay? Now, if the fear is something you're running from, it means that you and your chi don't have a real or a strong relationship. Because there's an ilu that says if the chi of a blind man sends him into battle, it is already accounted for his blindness. Okay? If the chi of a blind person sends them into battle, it is already accounted for their blindness. What does that mean? That means that if your chi sent you to go do it, you're going to win. You'll win. You understand? Oh, but I'm blind. You'll win. Just go. Right? And while you're in that battle, to assure that it is done right, Ekwensu will be placed there. And all your nerves are just gonna, that kind of thing. Right? Now, if you don't believe that what your chi said, if you don't believe that your chi said go into that battle, you'll win, and you're like, yeah, I don't know. Now it becomes what we call fear, right? Now it's a wall that's in front of you. That feeling, all that doubt is a wall that's in front of you. But what that feeling is actually supposed to be is a wind behind your sail, is a propellant, right? There's a link between Ekwensu and Nkwo. Nkwo. Nkwo is the element of wind. Nkwo is the final day. Nkwo is the one that balances the that separates the water from the earth so that there's balance. Okay, and Ekwensu's day is Nkwo. Nkwo. Okay, so Ekwensu assures that things are done correctly. That fear is necessary for you to operate at your highest level, to tap into your highest power, to tap into your highest energy. The feeling of fear is necessary, right? All great performers are very fearful about their craft. All great performers are fearful about their craft. They get butterflies, they get anxiety, they get choked up. Sometimes you'll see somebody, they're on stage and they're one way, and then you talk to them. This is just the shyest person you ever met in your life. You're like, what just happened there, right? It's because they're chi. And that Ekwensu energy in them, it's one, it's united when it needs to be. You understand? When it needs to be. So the concept of fear, yeah, as far as Odinani goes, it's a propellant. It's there to make sure you do things correctly. When you carry a very frail and fragile baby, you're going to be a lot more anxious than if you carry me. You understand? Because this has to be done correctly. You can drop my big ass and nothing's gonna happen. I'm fine, right? This has to be done correctly, right? With the two hands, it has to be done correctly. And that anxiety is what's going to assure that you do it correctly. You understand? Winsu as a protector, right? When you're in that state, when you're in that heightened state, there is you tap into a level of ability, level of not ability, a level of access to yourself, right? Especially those of you who are ADHD gang, right? ADHD, one of the symptoms is that there has to be some sort of feeling of pressure for you to fully lock into something, right? A feeling of pressure, a feeling of fear. That's why you can procrastinate the assignment all the way up till the night before. Then, boom, you write an entire book. You understand? Because that has to be there, right? ADHD is a little more pronounced, that kind of thing, but that's how it is for everybody. That's what that energy is for. So that's the relationship with fear and Odinani. Right? It's not, you don't fear things because you're supposed to avoid it. You understand? You fear things because you're supposed to handle it with two hands. Atticus, that was a good question. Just confirmed. Okay, just to confirm, Agun is Chihuahua and Onyowa. Yes. Now, here's the difference, okay? When somebody says Onyowa, they are talking about the person who you share the same Agun with from the past life. When they say Onyowa, right? So my Onyowa is like a grand uncle of mine, a grand uncle of mine. That is my Onyowa. But we share the same Agun. So my Agun in the past life was existing as him. It now exists as me, right? And then both of them are called your Chihuahua. The person and the Agun, all of it's your Chihuahua, right? Under my Nso Chi is against one's Agun is against one's Chi. There's no your Agun and your Chi are they're interlocked. It's not like you can't go against one and not go against the other, right? So Nso Chi is like Nso abomination against your Chi, abomination against your Chi, right? What am I? Is it possible to create alpha divination tools from scratch here in the United States? There's a specific way that it's activated, right? It's not just to have the tool, it's not enough. There's a specific way that it's activated, right? Um, but yeah, if you're activating it in a way that makes sense, the activation is what matters. The tool doesn't matter as much. I use a coin. I use a coin when I do alpha. I use a coin, right? But I activated it the proper way. I didn't want. How do you do FI divination? I use a coin. Now, in general, right, you need something that gives you a yes or a no. And then if you want to specifically do Afa divination, you would have to know the Afa language. Or like, for example, now I wrote like a textbook for our traditional medicine class. And so I have all of the codes for Afa in that textbook, right? So I use it as my guide when I do Afa as well, when I have a question to ask, which I don't do it too often. But the few times I did it, wow. Oh man, I got stories from that. I think I've shared it with you guys anyway. But yeah, when I did Afa, when I first did Afa, um, I was using the codes from the book I wrote. Um, so yeah, you got to know the language. You have to know how to talk to Afa, right? You have to. Okay, so somebody asked earlier if there's like 256 would do. No, but like for like it's the same like the same thing is done, but it's just not in a book. Like you sing to Afa, you sing to it, right? Or use it's like a poetry style called mbem. So you speak to it in poetry, and then it speaks back to you in poetry, right? And you guys are interlocked in that kind of thing, right? So yeah. So you speak to it the correct way, activate it the correct way, and then you can know the language. Then you can do Afa divination. Yeah, still trying to figure out how to pull off this polygamy. Huh? City people have 5 to 12-year-old marriage. Italian city. Mm-mm-mm. In Odinani, you once said your chi does not lose in one's life. Yes. Does your chi always win, even regardless your life is short, long? Yeah. If the shortness of your life, if your life was supposed to be short, it's from your chi. All makachi. It's because of your chi. The your chi is a force of is like a law of nature. Okay, think about the way your chi operates is like the same as like a law of nature. If your chi says it'll happen, it's a law of nature. Okay, so if I drop this comb, it's gonna do that because that's just it's just what it is. There's never gonna be a time where I do exactly this and all the conditions are the same, and the motherfucker just looks at me like this, and you know what I mean, without my hand, right? It's a law of nature. So if your chi says, you'll find victory on the fifth day, you're gonna find victory on the fifth day, that kind of thing. So I don't know. How do you activate the alpha divination tools? Ah, we're going deep. We're going deep. We're going deep. We're going deep. Um, I wouldn't have much sense if I didn't tell you that it was one of the things you learn in the traditional medicine class with Gedu. So if you're interested in learning how to activate alpha, it's one of the things you learn in the traditional medicine class with Gedu. It's one of the things you can learn. So it's also in the textbook that I wrote that comes with the class. So that's all available there. Yeah. Is there alpha done with sticks? Yeah. As long as you know what you're looking for, you can be pretty creative with what you use to do divination. Right. But yeah, you can use sticks. I've seen sticks done. One method is spider, sticks, and leaves. Yep. Yeah. I've heard about like using spider's web. Hello, Derek. Please, I want to sign up for the DBA class. I have the highest membership level. Okay, please, Juana, message me on Patreon. If you message me here, I'm not going to. It's not going to work. So message me on Patreon because then it lets me have a record of who's asking. So go ahead and add. Right now, we already have 3 people in out of 12. So about 9 seats left. And yeah, on them. My end concept says how to combat inner destructive energy. If you can give more detail, I would appreciate that. Um, but just as it is, it's hard to say. I will say that one of the first steps in gaining inner control is having that relationship with your chi, right? As much as it's going to sound like a broken record, because that is the foundation. You have to have a relationship with that sacred thing you come from, okay? With that sacred thing that you come from. That's what I was saying earlier with like the sacred space, right? Being able to regard a sacred space as sacred, a sacred thing as sacred, as sacred. And then from there, panning out, it'll help you gain more control of what's going on the inside. Because that's the control, that's the handle, okay? And then so, Juana, please message me on Patreon. Okay, thanks. Okay, guys, looks like the questions are ran out. You guys always stop right at the same time. I find that interesting, right? Oh, there's more. Described as sacred laws. I thought they were like poems. I thought they were poems. 256, 256. I thought they were poems, but I've never looked into it. That sounds like a dope concept though. But yeah, this is it, guys. And plus, if you can't tell, I'm tired. It's normal to feel like one wants to separate from the crowd, like not having joy being around. Yeah, yeah, of course. If that's how you are, then it's normal. Of course, of course. They say that ndi dibia otu ndi dibia na-eme. Nwana, can you hear what I just said? Ashina otu ndi dibia na-eme. Right? Yeah. Yeah, it's normal. It's normal. Uh, uh, arụbinagụ otu arụbinagụ na-eme onye ọbụla nwere mmụọ mgbọrọgwụ otu a na-eme. You understand? ndị nwere ndị nwere mmụọ dịka mgbọrọgwụ dịka arụbinagụ otu a na-eme. Achọrọ ịdị ebe ndị mmadụ dị, achọrọ ịdị ebe ọzọ. Inye ha ife, then uche ha ga-enwe udo, ga-enwe udo. Dị mma. Last week, Tali answers those questions. So one of the things about AFA, those of you who are interested in doing AFA, I have been instructed. I have been taught that AFA is done in the daytime. You don't do AFA at night, right? You do AFA in the presence of the sun. The presence of the sun. Okay, just a little detail I want to throw in there. Most of my friends don't think I want to hang out anymore. a debia is very similar to like a plant, right? And what scientists are saying is that a lot of what plants are doing, or they're doing it to make sure people stay away from them. People get away if we give them space and distance, that kind of thing. The more space a plant has, the more robust. Most plants, some are different. The more robustly it will grow, right? But plants that are crowded are usually smaller or constricted. But if you give them space, though, mm. So a lot of devias are like that. Let's see your little baby. She's growing up to be beautiful. Yeah, she's a beautiful little lady. I'm trying to keep her off camera. When I first started my channel, I was a new parent, so like, it's my kid, it's my son. Da, da, da. But as I mature as a parent, you learn that there's you know, some goddamn weirdos on this. Some fucking weirdos out here. And so I'm just, I'm trying to keep them off camera a little bit more. But this is it's, even with like even Namdi's own, like I didn't want him on camera. It's just he always wants to be doing what you're doing too, right? That's really important to him. And then her own is, hey, I want to eat now. It doesn't matter what you're doing. We're eating now. Okay, I want to play now. It doesn't matter what you're doing. We're doing that. And so I've quit trying to go against the grain and just kind of roll with it and that kind of thing. So my hoodoo ass is gonna want to do it. Okay, good. That's funny. All right, guys. Yeah, that's it. Creative. Shown. Okay, guys. This has been a great conversation, guys. This we're calling it a day. We're going to be signing up for the traditional medicine class starting Monday, honestly. So if you're on Patreon and you are a Zumezu tier and you want to take the traditional medicine class, message me and say, hey, put me in the class. I'll sign you up. Everybody else, you can sign up at kedu.me. Um, Class will be starting in March, so you do have some time to get ready, I guess. But I had a previous student that gave me a suggestion that there has to be some type of preliminary kind of cultural orientation before the class starts. So we've got something like that for those who sign up early. Um, but yeah, sign up early. Kedu.me. The class fills up super fast. Like I don't even know. Like by the end of this month, I might be like, hey guys, it's a wrap. So, anyways, that being said, guys, as always, uno gade, uno geto, kabla uno tiraka, gade no gade otwa neke, lori afọ, unquote. He said, what is the schedule and curriculum like? Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Um, Curriculum is traditional medicine, how to be a debia, what debias do, and then learning about the different sacred items and how to work with them, and then how to form medicine, right? And then level two is like an apprenticeship, right? Where you're kind of working, like the debia is kind of inviting you into his world. The class is taught by a traditional, like a debia, traditional practitioner, and so forth. So that being said, he said, take care, guys.